I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up!
That's right, that's right, that's right. Wake up immediately. Wake up right now. All right. If I'm up, you up, we up. Okay. So this is it's been a wild ride the last couple of days. Actually, the last couple of weeks. First of all, let me just tell you, thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. I'm John Greaves III. I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life. And if this is your first time here, you are in for a treat. This is a unique show. This is the only show where we talk to the people who make the home gym equipment that you love, and the athletes who train at home, who you look up to and you aspire to emulate, and the coaches who help train all of us to be at our best in a home gym environment. It's the only show where we talk to them, but we allow you guys to also talk to them as well through the live chat feature. So if you're watching for the first time, don't be shy. I don't want you to lurk. I want you to, I have two different guests coming on today. And if you have any questions for them or for me, go ahead, throw that question in the live chat, because I want your voices to be heard. I'm not going to make you wait, part of the replay where you got to post a comment and then hope that they see your comment and then they come back and then they have time to answer your question. Nah, you're going to get your questions answered in real time here today, each and every Friday. So this is a good show, and I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving and an excellent Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. Let's all just combine all that together. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you that it's been a wild ride. So in the past couple of weeks, I have been in, let me count it up. So let's see. So Georgia, obviously where we live, then North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., California. All right, so I've been in 7 states in the last couple of weeks, and I still had time to get the cups out, those Best Gym in Town cups shipped out to the people who wanted them. So yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing better than UPS. We'll talk about them later. All right, anyway, so like I said, today's going to be a fun show, and although it has been a wild ride, I haven't had a ton of sleep. We are still here. We're still ready to go. I actually started the show a little bit early because I couldn't wait. All right. But I will just tell you, look, there's a lot of this pre-workout in here. Okay. And I actually had to calm down a little bit. So I posted a video. I posted a video, a short, showing like me getting ready, like for the show, and I'm like, look, this is me, just so it looks calm, but this is like a million thoughts are going through my head. Just check this out. Mine just going. So my mind right now is, in this video, my mind is racing because I got so much on my mind. I'm just thinking, I got to get all this done. I got to do this. I got to do this. It's just crazy. All right. But, hey. And that's my normal, let's call it pre-game ritual. That's my normal pre-show ritual. Get up, shave, drink pre-workout, get ready to go. So yeah, the struggle, I don't want to say the struggle was real, but it was there. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's tell you guys what's on today's show. And then, well, actually, no, let's go ahead and shout out everybody who's in the chat. All right, so let's go ahead. I saw some of you guys lined up early. And can you guys hear me? Is my sound okay? Because I'm in a different location. You see, I got headphones on, okay? So it's not a hostage situation. Last week, y'all thought I was being held hostage in my uncle's basement because I didn't have headphones on. So I'm wearing my headphones, okay? So if you guys can If you guys, so you guys make sure you can hear me, okay? And I got headphones on. I am okay. All right. So let's. My mic sounds nice. Check one. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So first in the building, Jared Martin, my man Jared. Jared, I'm still waiting to get that video from you of your. I think you said it was your son singing the Recliner Rage song. Okay, I need that in my life. Especially this, especially with everything that's been going on. So I need that in my life. Just I'm not. You know what? I'm not asking you. I'm begging. I'm begging. I'm not too. I ain't too proud to beg. Go ahead and get the video for me, and I need you to just DM it to me. I'm not even gonna show it to anybody. Well, I'll show it to like my wife, but I'm not gonna like put it on the internet or anything like that. I just want to have it for my own personal. Like anytime I get discouraged, I feel like that video is gonna give me life. So go ahead and send it to me, my man. So Jared said no sleeping in this Friday. You dang right. Ain't no sleeping in. I took a nap. I didn't sleep. I took a nap. Then we got my guy Carlos. Carlos. All right. Said not even a little bit. Jay, what's up, man? Jay, I have invaded your state, and you ain't even know. You don't know where I am. Y'all don't know where I am. But I have invaded the state of California. California Republic now has one extra temporary resident. My guy Kurt Locker. Kurt just did an AMA with Joe Gray. I'm sorry, not an AMA. He did an AMA warm up with Joe Gray. I encourage you guys to go check it out on the Gray Matter Lifting YouTube channel. And he's going to be doing an Ask Me Anything over on our home gym on Reddit. That's coming up. So if you guys have any questions about strongman, about content creation on YouTube, mustache growth, whatever, Kurt is the guy to answer all those questions for you. So you make sure that you check that out. All right. And let's see. 619 driver. My man Jay, he said one West Sider. I'm not a West Sider, but I was singing. I'm going back to Cali, because I'm here. Because here I is temporarily. That's it. Oh, look. Kurt's trying to get a dang movement started. He's like, East Coast gang, mount up. Oh, shoot. This is not good. Jared says, got woken up at 4 by a child and couldn't get back to sleep. Well, you know what? I got woken up by my child as well. And had stuff to do, But I did not make sourdough bread and go back to the basement. I did not. We had things going on. All right. Shout out to my guy, Matthew Porter. Matthew is the newest member of our channel. Appreciate all the support, Matthew. That's something that, I don't push as much as I probably should. Joining the channel, becoming a channel member to support is only 99 cents a month, but really it goes a long way towards making it so that we can actually do everything that we need to do here on YouTube. It ain't free. I wish it were, but the way that we do it is not free, and it does. And if I didn't pay, then it wouldn't. Some of the things that I do that you guys have started to come to enjoy from this show, I wouldn't be able to do. So I appreciate all of you guys who have become channel members, including our latest channel member, my guy Matthew Porter. Old school razor, man. Of course, man. I'm a grown man. I don't shave with those 17 blade razors. They got the more blades, the less beneficial it is for your skin. So yeah, I do straight. I actually used to shave with a straight razor. I still do that to clean up like the corners, and like there's a little crease in the back of my head that I can only get with the straight razor. But for the sake of time, now I use the double-edged razor. But I still use the same process. Like the way I shave the way people did in the 40s. And if you look back at the pictures of people in the 40s, men who were clean shaven, their skin looked a lot better than us today, and they didn't have all these products that people have now. So there's something to think about. Carlos said he's free. Man, look, let me tell you something. I told you I wasn't. My uncle was not holding me hostage. I just didn't have all my resources. Jared says we'll try to capture. Man, I appreciate it, dude. I'm telling you, it'll give me life. So you headed to Kurt says he's headed to Bridgeville this morning. Okay, yeah, man. Have a good time, dude. Have a good time. Enjoy. Didn't I just tell you that I'm not going to tell you where I'm at? I'm not. I don't tell. You know what? That's one of those things. It's like I got that. I think I got that from my mom. I don't know unless it's related to a contract where I'm like, okay, I'm here doing this. I normally don't tell people where I am. I'll usually tell you where I've been, right? And that's just, I don't know. It's just a thing. Like I said. But I am definitely in California. I'm under the ceiling fan. That's where I'm at. Let's see. All right. Said, oh, okay. So let's see. Carp's gym is in the building, Central Time Zone, along with Carlos. Central Time Zone is well represented. Oh, Carp said this DJ be Warren G. Oh, I can always count on you. All right. Look at that. Free Dresman. Man, Dresman is staying right where he's at. My man. Keep on guessing. Even if you guess, I ain't telling you. Even if you guess, even if you guess, I ain't telling you. But good try though. You're doing good. All right. Anyway, let's so that's everybody who's here. And let's go ahead and let's check out what's going on today's show. So first of all, first hour, which basically is now, we're gonna have news and other things. I'm gonna share basically a couple of things that have come across my desk that I think are important or at least interesting and entertaining for you guys to hear about. Included in that is a segment called React and Respond that we're going to see if that's got any traction. If it does, then we'll make it a regularly occurring segment. Basically, it's where we watch a clip from a video that's on YouTube from somebody else. We watch a clip together and then we react to it, to what was said in the clip. So that's coming up in news and other things. Plus, of course, I've got a brand new recliner rage, and yes, it includes UPS. Okay, because my patience with them, especially given everything I was going, and I'm just one person, you know. I mean, my wife helps, but she's working. Her work schedule is a little bit tighter than mine is, so she can't do as much with Garage Gym Life as I can. And so it's basically me shipping stuff out. And I managed to get stuff shipped out, right? Despite the hectic, crazy nature of what's been going on with me. So I don't understand why UPS can't do it when that's their only function. That's all I'm saying. All right. Second hour, which will be 7 o'clock. Well, 7:05 Eastern time. My guy Rory Ellis is going to be joining us. We're going to talk about all his products. We're going to talk about anabolic flip-flops, whether or not they actually will grow your chest hair while you wait. And in the third hour, we got Mario from 4-6 Fitness. He's coming back. He's got some more products that we're going to talk about. Plus, he might have a promo code for everybody who's watching the show right now. So if you've been looking at any of the stuff from 4-6 Fitness, this will be your chance to get it once we find out whatever the promo code is. All right. So pretty much now you know what's going on. So if you have not already, do me a favor and go ahead, hit that like button for me. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, because I need your help to get to 50,000 subscribers. You see, we're over 40,000, which seemed like an impossible goal when I said I wanted 50,000. We had just hit 25,000. So hitting 50,000 would seem like it's pretty far off, but it's well within reach, especially because I said I wanted to hit it this year, like within a year. And so it seemed like it was a pretty lofty goal, but we're less than 10,000 away. So I need your help to help us get there. We got less than a month to see if we can make this happen in 2024. Go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe for me and help your boy out. And that's pretty much it. All right. So yeah, grab a coffee if you don't have one. I told you already, I'm consuming the pre-workout with zero shame. Okay. Because coffee ain't enough for me right now. But let's go. We're going to go ahead and jump into our next segment. First official segment. Let's do some news and other things. All right, let's go. All right. So first news item is we got a Home Gym Con update. So Home Gym Con is about 6 months away, roughly, give or take, about 6 months away now. And it's Home Gym Con, almost an episode, right? It's almost like the chapters in a story or the episodes in a TV show. But it's like, yeah, it's like the saga continues, right? And it's awesome watching it unfold, especially since I remember where it came from. But Home Gym Con already has over 100 companies signed up. There's like 109 companies signed up for Home Gym Con right now, and it's only 75% full. So there's still room for other companies to jump on board. That's just crazy. Especially, like I said, those of us, those of you watching this, whether you're watching live or if you're watching the replay or you're listening to the audio version on Podbean, if you were at Home Gym Con, you remember how small that initial core group was. And now to hear, how much space we had in the room where all the brands were that had booths. And now to hear that we're in a bigger location and in Louisville and it's 75% full. There's 109 brands already signed up. That's just crazy. Then the thing, and this is a surprise to me. So we already knew about most of the brands because there's, Jake is really good about posting updates. In fact, if you are not signed up to his newsletter, I highly recommend that you sign up for his newsletter because that's where you'll get the most up-to-date information about Home Gym Con, including tickets and and who signed up and everything else. But this actually took me by surprise, and it was Major Fitness has signed up to be one of the companies that's going to be at Home Gym Con. I did not expect that. I really didn't. And I actually, I would say that I applaud them for doing that because, like I was saying when I interviewed here from RitFit, I think that if you're going to try to make money off of our community, the least you can do is engage with our community in a meaningful way. And I think that Home Gym Con is fast becoming the most meaningful way to engage with the home gym community, whether you are a content creator or you are a brand that's looking to sell stuff to the home gym community, right? Because, and there's a risk now. You're going to be putting your stuff side by side with some of the most innovative products out there, some of the best built, most well-designed products out there. And if your stuff isn't up to par, it's gonna look crazy. You know what I mean? Don't be the one. Don't be the rusty Honda parked next to the Mercedes on the lot. Don't be that one. Don't be the eyesore. Don't be the jalopy. So I'm gonna say that, but it's a challenge. But that's why I respect them for taking that challenge, because they could very easily just be like, we just not gonna make it. And there are companies that just don't do it. And I'm like, so it takes courage in a real way to go there, not know what the reception is going to be, and not even know what benefit it's going to be to your sales to do something like what Major Fitness is doing. So I'm like, hey, it's shout out to y'all. So let me see here. So the other thing is that as Jake, I think, so Jake just said they actually, Major Fitness, actually has the largest booth so far. I think that before them, Iron Bull Strength had the biggest booth, I think. But now Major Fitness has the biggest booth so far. So that tells me you don't have a big booth if you don't plan on making some noise. So I want to hear from you guys. What are you hoping to see if you're going to go to Home Gym Con, and you should? What are you hoping to see from a brand like Major Fitness? So go ahead and put that in the comment in the chat. If you're watching live, and if you're watching on replay, drop a comment. Let me know what is it that you would like to see from Major Fitness at Home Gym Con, because I think it's a chance for. There's another thing too. It's a chance for you to compare. So they're at a certain, in my mind, I could be wrong, but in my mind, Major Fitness is in a certain tier of products, right? You're going to be able to compare them to other companies that are in that same tier. Obviously, you can also compare them to some of the higher quality brands, like, that use a higher gauge steel, for example. You'll be able to compare them to that. But you'll be able to compare apples to apples. Like, hey, this is, 14 gauge steel. I'm going to compare it to other 14 gauge steel products. I think a good one to compare would be something like their leg press hack squat combo. Because I remember when Ashley did her review of it, she did not really like, she wasn't the biggest fan of, actually she's done a couple of leg press hack squat combos, right? And she's not always the biggest fan of how they set it up in terms of like where the safety stops are. Like, basically it's not designed for women to use comfortably. All right. So if you're somebody who trains and your wife trains as well, then now you can compare these brands that are, on the lower end in terms of cost, to see which one fits you. Because I think one mistake that people make is they watch a review from some influencer. The dude may be like 6 feet tall. He said, "Oh, this is great," and then you're like 5'3", and you buying something based off of the leverages and proportions of somebody who's nothing like you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's pretty cool. All right. So Jake said that actually Rep has the second biggest booth, and Rogue is right behind them. Jared said, "I like to see heavier duty equipment," like you're saying. Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: I don't want them to just make an 11 gauge steel. I don't want Major Fitness or RitFit to just make an 11 gauge steel rack, right? I want it to like solve some of the design, like some of the things that content creators, we do a review of it, and we're like, oh, this right here needs to be fixed, or this needs to be tweaked. Solve those problems along with the 11 gauge, along with making it a higher grade of steel, or a thicker gauge of steel. For me, it's not enough to just make something 11 gauge steel. If you don't solve the problems, it's just thicker steel. It's just a thicker steel garbage can in my mind. You know what I mean? So solve the problems. And Carp said Peter from Fringe was even saying, bring a trailer to take stuff home. Literally, that is the other advantage. If you're not attending Home Gym Con, that's the other thing you're missing out on. You can show up there. Okay, so think about what the cost to ship, say, a power rack would be, right? And then if you got other stuff, or a leg press hack squat combo or something like that. Okay, now compare the cost of all of that stuff versus just renting a U-Haul. Especially if you don't live too far, you live in a reasonable driving distance, or borrowing somebody's pickup or whatever, that it's worth it. It's not something to sleep on. Here's another comment from Carp. Said, yeah, it's the real change for those weight is weight and Titan is the same quality as Rogue guys to actually come out, put their hands on stuff and see if they really believe that in person instead of just seeing the price tag and being scared. Exactly. So I'm going to use ATX as an example, right? ATX blew everybody away with the quality of their product as soon as you saw it and touched it. You're like, oh, wow, right? But if you just see it online, You just see it in a video. You might be like, oh, that's nice looking. Oh, that looks nice. But you don't actually get to see what the quality of the product, I don't want to say weight, but it carries weight when you see something in person and you see the quality that you just cannot, that you can't absorb is the best term I can have. You can't appreciate. Yeah, you can't appreciate from just watching a video or seeing a picture on somebody's website. Carp said, with that space, Major Fitness will be bringing everything they have. Maybe. Yes, Jared says ATX, how different the products are, was so impressive. Yeah, and then here's the fallout of that. Every company that was around ATX saw what they did. And one of the things that brands are concerned about is like, well, somebody could copy me. Maybe, but guess what? Guess what also is possible? That a brand that you see something, right? And you see something another brand is doing, and you figure out a way to do it better. That's not copying, that's pushing the market forward, and that benefits the consumer. You put your own twist on it, your own spin on it. And the people who benefit are the ones who actually use your stuff. So I'm excited. Every year I go to Home Gym. Okay, this is only the third year. Okay, yes. But every year I've gone to Home Gym Con, I've become more excited to come back the next year because of how it goes. Joyce, what's up? She's healthy competition. Hope you guys are enjoying Japan. All right. You guys go ahead and keep on putting, what are you expecting? What are you hoping to see from Major Fitness and any other brand? What are you hoping to see from the brands at Home Gym Con when you get there? Or when we get there. See, we got about 249 of you watching right now. Don't just watch passively. Hit that like button for me, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click this banner again. I need you to hit the like button. Click the like button. Help me reach 50,000 subscribers. And if you've already hit that like button, if you've already subscribed, then I need you to do something else for me, all right? Don't just watch. Hey, I don't want you to just watch this video. I need you to like, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, I want you to join our channel for 99 cents a month so you can help us improve YouTube for the home gym community. Okay, back to the video. All right, simple. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you've already subscribed, click that join button now. If you are using an iPhone, you will not see a join button. If you're using an Android phone, you'll see a join button where the subscribe button used to be. If you're using an Android, you'll need to go onto a laptop or desktop and go that way. You'll see a membership button. But if you look in the description for this video, the link to join the channel is also right there. And I tell you what, I'm going to do one better because I keep on saying, and I don't do a really good job of this. So I'm going to change my ways. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more proactive. And I'm going to actually post the link, the little join link in the live chat. And then if you're watching on replay, I will have it pinned as the first comment. So you guys can see. So you don't have to just hear me say, join the channel for only 99 cents a month. And you get to watch, members only content. You get to see videos before everyone else. But you don't know how to actually become a member. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna remedy that right now. So let's go ahead and throw it in there right here. So this link right here is how you can join the channel. And like I said, if you're watching on replay, it will be the comment that's pinned to the top of the pinned to the top of the comment section. All right, let's see here. See, we got some comments. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, already did that. All right, so okay. So Joyce said only Mike was in Japan. You're in Connecticut. All right. I appreciate you dropping by. Still, it's always a pleasure to see you in the chat and supporting the show. And let's see here. Carp says the Rit Fit leg press hack squat 2.0 looks a lot better than version 1. Looks like they fixed the things Ashley and others mentioned. Yeah, and actually, since Rit Fit is going to be at Home Gym Con, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing, how they have improved the things that content creators have mentioned. Because, like, in my mind, I'm like, why wouldn't you send this out to people before you release it on the market, so that we can tell you, hey, you need to fix this ahead of time. But I can also kind of see like their opinion, because they're like, well, some people are going to like it the way it is. So why not start generating some revenue, because it costs money to develop a product. So why not start generating some revenue? And then if there are changes that need to be made, we can make those changes, come out with a version 2 and keep on pushing. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Exactly, Joyce, you are so right. Home Gym Con is hands down. I couldn't say it better myself. It's hands down the best place to touch, feel, use, and find out about gym equipment. That's perfect, especially if you're like, this is your first time building a home gym. You come to Home Gym Con and you're gonna learn. Everybody there is willing to talk to you, right? I know Jake doesn't like calling them vendors, but people understand what I mean by vendors. So from the vendors to people who are just attending, everybody's willing to talk home gym equipment with you. And if you have questions about something, like, man, well, what is that? People are more than willing to explain stuff to you. Especially, sometimes we use terms as content creators that we assume everybody knows, but they don't sometimes. So yeah, it's perfect. Oh, Matthew, yeah, man, you look at, dude. I'm telling you, that's why I really wish YouTube made it easier for everybody to find it, but apparently it's like something with iPhones that just makes it. They like with the iPhone version of the YouTube app that doesn't let them put that join button in the YouTube app on an iPhone. You just can't do it. But you know what I can do? I can make it more accessible myself by just putting it in more places. Because normally I just have it in the video description, and then I also don't bring it up as much. So that's on me. I appreciate appreciate the reminder from you. Michael V said greetings from Japan. What's up, man? Appreciate you being here, Michael. I hope you're having a good time. I know you missed Joyce, but I hope you're having a good time. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into the next segment, and that is called. I didn't really know what to call it, but I'm gonna call it React. I've decided to call it React and Respond. And like I said, it's basically we're going to watch a video together that's already on somebody else's YouTube channel. We're only going to watch a little bit of it because that way it'll be covered under fair use. But we're going to react, and then we're going to react to what we see. Then we're going to respond in a conversation. So this is from the Starting Strength YouTube channel, and it's your boy Rit talking about power racks. So let's check it out. Let's see. Hopefully you'll be able to actually hear the thing. So hold up. Go here. First, I have to share it. So hold on a second. Share screen. And if you guys can't hear it, that will be horrible. But I wasn't sure if you guys would be able to hear it or not. So let's find out if you can hear it.
At one time, and I realized that people don't normally go.
Oh, what in the world? All right, so let's see here. Now it doesn't want to play.
through power racks, but this one has
There
other
we go.
features that allow it to, as far as I'm concerned, be superior to a tubing rack. A tubing rack only.
All right. So before we go any further, can you guys hear Ripito talking? All right. Please, somebody put in the chat if you guys can actually hear him talking. Because if you can't hear him talking, while you're doing this, seeing his mouth move, but you can't hear it, then there's really no point in going through this exercise, and we'll have to do it a different way. So before I go any further, you can hear him. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Joyce. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'll press play again.
Allows the pin to be horizontal because of the perforations front and back in the tube. The pins, the safety pins in this rack, if you need to, can be used as the J hooks. This allows you to squat, bench press, press from the outside of the rack using the pins as support. It also allows you to do an interesting little thing if you have to rehab your shoulder, which is to set the pins at the top of the rack, walk the bar out at lockout, lower the bar through the rehabbing range of motion, and then rack it at the top as you walk it back in. For a range of motion at the bottom of an injured shoulder, this allows you a great deal of flexibility in terms of starting the press into your rehab. The hole density on this, hole spacing on this rack is 2 inches. The holes are very, very close together. Our old racks were at 3 inches. These have been narrowed to 2. This gives you quite a bit more adjustability in terms of the height of the pins. And one of the other features of this rack that involves pin adjustment is the ability to do dips in this rack. You take 2 bars, place them on the pins inside the rack, jam them up against either one of the uprights and do the dips. And you can precisely adjust the height of the dip with these 2-inch spacings to fit your dip pattern, however high you need to jump up off the ground and assume the dip station. Obviously, the rack can be used to bench press out of. And what we always tell everybody is if you're going to bench press, especially by yourself, you need to be set up inside the rack with the safeties set up at the correct height for you on this.
All right. So he said a lot of things, as he tends to. All right. So let's go back. First of all, so what he's saying is a C-channel rack, which is different from, so the racks that most of us have are, he called it a tubing, but it's basically a square tubing rack. All right. And Ripito said basically that he believes that a C-channel rack is a better rack. So, especially since I got some of you guys in here who are like creators and like you guys like to build stuff, you know, I want to hear your, what's your reaction? Respond to what Ripito said. Do you believe that a C-channel rack is superior for the reasons that he mentioned? And I want you to know that this debate is pretty dang, I wouldn't say it's heated, but it does have quite a bit of, there are some very staunch devotees of C-channel racks, more than I expected. And all you gotta do is go to startingstrength.com and look in their forum, and I'll be happy to link to share that link to this debate. It's literally called C-channel versus square tubing. But I mean, here we go. Here's the thing. Number one, a C-channel rack is less expensive to build because obviously you're using less steel, right? Because a square tubing rack, you've got the front and the back of the rack. A C-channel, you're essentially taking just the front of the square of the post, right? You're essentially taking just the front of the post, and then there's the groove, right? And that's it. So there's less material, so it's going to be cheaper. I don't know. It's less expensive to build, but I don't know that it's necessarily heavier duty. You know what I mean? Like I'm racking my brain, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever used one extensively. I do know that there are people who they're easier to build, so people like they'll build them. Just like one person I'm thinking of, I think he's got a C channel rack, and he built his with his dad in the afternoon after high school, and the thing is still going strong. But okay, so let's I just so Jared says never used, so can I give an informed answer? At first glance, I'll pass though. All right. Let me tell you, so I like Kurt's answer, right? Where he said, so he says only Rip would try to sell people on a more expensive C channel rack and get people to just ghetto modify movements to make them work. This is simply marketing from Rip selling to his loyal disciples. So the part I really like about what Kurt said is the thing where he's like, oh, you can load it at an angle. I'm like, I mean, but we have lever arms now. We've got other things that you can use for that. And I get it if you want to say, well, yeah, but then you wouldn't have to buy a lever arm. Okay. All right. I didn't get what he says. Well, the C channel rack allows you to somehow you're loaded. You can basically set up a pin press, like where you load you set the bar up at lockout, or at close to lockout or whatever. You have a limited range of motion. I'm like, I can do that now, and I don't have a C channel rack. I just set the pins in my normal square tubing rack to where I want, and then limit the range of motion. That's how you do Anderson squats, for example. That's how you do pin squats. You just set it to wherever you want it. The thing that he said about, and I'm not saying that they're worthless, but I'm just, the thing that he said about where you can set the pin height to more precisely, I'm like, that's kind of the sort of the same idea behind West Side spacing. And he says, well, you can move it more precisely. I'm like, well, the holes are ginormous. So what do you mean you can be more precise? I don't think so. To me, it seems like there's a little bit more margin for error because of how gravity works. The bar, the pins, safety pins, are always going to be on the bottom of the hole. They're always, that's just how gravity works. They're always going to be in the bottom of the hole. So the only advantage I can see is if you're offsetting it, so you put you put the back of the safety pins, for example, put the back of the safety pins lower than the front of the safety pins, and then that only works if you're benching or pressing or whatever outside the rack. Because if you set them up like that and you're inside the rack, bad things are about to happen to you. Okay, that may entertain you or horrify your friends. So I don't know about all that. Yeah, Matthew Porter said, as a great Randy Jackson once said, yeah, that's going to be a no for me, dog. Shout out to Randy Jackson. I ain't heard. Okay. Oh man, bringing up, what's this shit? It's not The Voice. This is the one Kelly Clarkson, all these people were on. Is it American Idol? Yeah. Okay. That shows how much I want. Jared said, I wonder about the stability versus our normal tubing racks. I mean, they work. Again, like I said, they work. I would say that you probably are much more likely to have to bolt down a C-channel rack because, again, there's just less material. You know what I'm saying? There's just less material in the rack. There's just less material. So let's see here. And yeah, I knew this was going to be popular. So Carp said, yeah, how is half an upright more expensive? Shouldn't it be half as expensive? He said, also, I think his barbells are more expensive than Texas Power Bars and Bear Steel. They're Bear Steel, yes, but so he had the Ripito Bergener bar, I think they called it, and it was Bear Steel. And he says a higher quality bar because so there's no Cerakote, so you don't have the grooves and the knurling aren't filled up with Cerakote. I get it. Carp said, if you love metal on metal contact, this rack is for you. Jared said, the highest starting position, I can do that with my spotter arms, and I do sometimes. It works fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you could do that. I don't like none of the selling points that he mentioned to me are actual selling points. They might have been selling points for racks in, say, the 90s. Because I've done actually in the past couple of years, I've used some racks that are designed like the older power racks were, and I did see the limitations that he's talking about. But times have changed, and so companies have addressed some of these deficiencies in equipment, in specifically power racks. So I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Mike said, I also said this, perhaps as a gathering place where the rack can be demonstrated and used by potential buyers, say in Louisville, for instance. I'm going to just say right now, I don't like to limit things, but I think the chances of, first of all, Rip is not a home gym guy, right? This thing in the starting strength, whatever, he's got tons of people who are home gym people, and so who are passionate followers of starting strength, despite the fact that it's called starting strength. And you're supposed to not stay on it forever. It's supposed to get you started. Then you're supposed to transition to another training method once you become an intermediate. But I digress. But there are people who are passionate, lifelong followers of starting strength who have home gyms. But it's not necessarily, I mean, he owns owns it, the Wichita Falls Athletic Club. And it's a semi-private / public gym, whatever. So yeah, that's not really his scene. And also, Rip just doesn't care what we think. He don't care what I think. All right. I see it, Michael. I promise you, Jared. Rip does not care. Carlos said it was American Idol. Yeah, thank you. I wasn't sure. It's been a minute. There's so many of these shows now. America's Got Talent, all this stuff. There's people doing cartwheels and singing at the same time. It's whatever. People with masks on singing. I don't even pay attention anymore. Carp said uprights not numbered. I could go on. I certainly only found that out because someone that goes to the gym kept misplacing the pins, and I'm like, oh, these are not even in the right holes. Well, I mean, when you keep on, offsetting yeah, okay. Anyway. The Slant C channel. That's funny. All right. And Carp said, if you ever seen a dude squatting 500 in there, they're saying that it shakes like crazy. Texas Power Bar makes the starting strength bar for him. I think it's more expensive than the Texas Power Bar. He's got a very solid view of himself. Let's just say that. Yeah. Oh, so we have someone who was actually on the ground. Kurt says, I've been to Wichita Falls Athletic Club when I was stationed in Wichita Falls. Overrated. Well, there you go. And there you have it. So now I want you guys to know that if for some reason you guys want to see more of this very debate, then you can go to this link that I just posted in the chat, which I will not be posting in the comment section. So you have to go look at the chat section, the live chat replay. If you're watching on replay in order to see this. Yeah, you can go right there and you can see the entire debate as it stands up to this morning. And I highly encourage you not to comment. I highly encourage you not to comment. Just read it, lurk, see what the different back and forth is, and then quietly step away. That's what I would tell you to do. I mean, unless you want the smoke. If you do, then, well, don't step away. Go ahead, don't dive right into it. You'll get what you're looking for, I promise. All right, let's move into the next thing, which is y'all's favorite segment, and then we'll have some time, and then we'll go right into our first guest of the day, my man Rory. So let's go ahead. Y'all's favorite segment, because y'all like laughing at my pain, which is a little concerning, but nevertheless, Recliner Rage. Let's do it.
It's the recliner of rage.
It's the recliner of rage, 'cause he's not happy.
Okay, so today's Recliner of Rage, as I mentioned, is once again dedicated to freaking UPS. The Recliner Rage itself is dedicated to how many times I've been in a Recliner Rage against UPS this year alone. I've been mad at UPS for losing packages, damaging packages, delayed shipments multiple times this year. And sure enough, I can't even talk. Let me just stop and hold on. You think if I drink some more pre-workout that'll calm me down enough to get through this? Let's find out. Okay. Sure enough, once again, they have screwed up a simple assignment. So I had a package that's supposed to be coming. It was supposed to arrive stay with me. The package was supposed to arrive on Tuesday. Now, let me stop right there and tell y'all a little something about me that you probably don't know. I was actually tested in elementary school, and they found that I have an above average reading speed. So they actually had a machine, and the machine scrolled through, and they tested us multiple times with different documents, so we couldn't just memorize stuff. I don't know who would do that, but so they test us with different pieces of literature, and it was like, all right, so you got to read it, and basically we just go line by line, right? And so the lines would disappear, so you couldn't and we didn't control it, so I couldn't scroll back up or whatever. And they would just test to see how fast you could retain stuff, because at the end of the passage, then they would test you on what you remembered in your comprehension. And then they give you another, and then if you pass that, then they speed it up a little bit, and they just kept doing that. So anyway, they said, hey, this dude's got an above average reading speed. And I can tell you that, for example, I can easily, if I'm interested in it, I can easily complete a novel in one day, a full-length novel in one day. Why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that so I can tell you that by the time I finished reading the email that told me that the package was going to arrive on Tuesday, I had received another email saying my delivery had been rescheduled to Friday, which is today. Okay? So let's go back in time. I got an email last weekend that said my package was going to arrive on Tuesday. Before I finished reading that email, I received another email that said the delivery had been rescheduled to Friday, which is today. However, don't worry about that, because yesterday, which was Thursday, I received an email telling me that the package delivery had been rescheduled to Monday, which is next week. Now, I know I just threw a lot of dates and days at you. I know I did, and I apologize for that. But I'm going through a thing right now, okay? I'm going through a thing. Your only job is to take packages from one location to another location safely. That's it. You've got multiple vehicles, multiple employees, all dedicated to the goal, the function, the purpose, if you will, of taking packages from one location quickly, efficiently, and safely to another location. I don't know about you, but if I only had one job and I did it every day, because they work every day of the year. If I only had one job and I did it every single day, eventually I get good at it. And yet, that natural process doesn't seem to be working at United Parcel Service. So they're defying the laws of nature. They're defying the laws of sowing and reaping, seed time and harvest. I don't understand how you could do something all the time and still be bad at it. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? How can you do only one thing all of the time, every day, and just be bad at it year after year after year? I mean, this is not a rhetorical question. If anybody out there has been doing one thing only year after year for decades and you're still bad at it, please enlighten me. Tell me how you managed to be the way you are, because I don't understand how it's possible. I don't. I don't understand. I really don't understand how how and got zero desire to issue refunds. They will figure out ways that is your fault. I, and we can't do anything about it because they got our stuff. They got our stuff. We are helpless before them. We complain about it. Like, oh. I've seen people get mad about things that affect them far less than the fact that you order something and then you are at the mercy of whoever decides to bring it, whenever they decide to bring it, however it is they decide to bring it to you, and in whatever condition they decide it should arrive to you in. There's something not right about that. There's something not right about that. Seriously. I mean, seriously. You only do one thing every day of the yeah. You know what? That is exactly what I needed to hear. All right. I see all y'all's other comments. I'm going to go to them, right? But I want to show this one first from my man, Matt. Tattoo saying, shout out to the UK. He said they're going to start calling you, say, we have your parcel here. If you ever want to see it again, here are our demands. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised, because UPS will get your stuff, take your stuff, and then do whatever they please with it. Throw it, fling it. It shows up damaged. Oh, well. They tell you file a claim. Well, filing a claim pretty much means you got to go back to the same company you ordered it from in the first place and get them to send you another one that's probably going to be delivered by, that's right, UPS. And they get to just do this over and over again. And it's supposed to be okay. How is that okay? In what? You know, the only job I can say that's like that, where you only do one thing, it's two other jobs. The only two other jobs I can say that are like that, where you only do one thing all of the time, screw it up constantly, despite how much practice you get, are being a meteorologist and being a politician. Those are the only two. That's the only two careers I can think of where you do only one thing all of the time, and your entire career you do just one thing and you're still bad at it. I don't get it. I just don't. In fact, I refuse to understand, because like I said, it violates the laws of nature and physics that you do one thing and you still bad at it. All right, let's see. Let's go. So Jay, talk to me, Jay. Shout your pain. Jay said, UPS delivered a Rogue bar with an end cap missing. I'm in the middle of a claim right now. The bar wasn't damaged, but no certificate of inspection or anything. The bar and the tube was it. Oh yeah, of course. They don't care, because they don't care, Jay. They don't care. They figure you got no other choice. Said last bar took a screwdriver and pliers to open. No accident at all. Yeah. Carp said, yeah, I just mailed a bar to Georgia this week with UPS. I was holding my breath. But apparently $6 in Gorilla Tape can circumvent the UPS issues. Dude. I'm just telling you. You know what? There you go. UPS means your parcels are screwed. Exactly right, Matt. That is exactly right. That's just crazy. You know, actually, Rory's coming on, and you know he has to ship packages. I'm gonna ask him because from his standpoint as the shipper, I want to, and then of course he also he just built like a dang palatial estate that also had, you know, it's got a home gym, and then he also got a house on it too. But he's got a home gym, and then the house happens to be there too. So he's got stuff getting delivered. So I'm gonna get his reaction. But I'm just telling you that this is just crazy. I've never in my life encountered a situation where this just keeps on happening, and they just, you know, and we just got to put up with it. Anyway, look, I've been saying this to you guys all year long. Recliner of Rage is sponsored by my guy Ashton and Freedom Fitness Equipment. And one thing I like about Ashton is he does not, when he ships stuff to me, he uses his own shipping carriers. And so I don't have to deal with this garbage that I deal with UPS. I really like that about him, but I also love the fact that he will listen to what you want and he will get you hooked up, help you design and purchase the equipment that you need for the home gym you want so that you will have the best gym in town. So hit him up, freedomfitnessequipment.com, and use that chat function, and Ashton will hook you up. And right now, it is December 6th. Happy birthday to my oldest son. Ashton is running a sale right now throughout the holiday season. So you guys want to take advantage of that, go to freedomfitnessequipment.com, and he will get you going. All right. Now, also, shout out to the Central Time Zone. Appreciate you guys getting away too early with Garage Gym Life. This is probably going to be your favorite show after you've watched the entire thing. You've seen my pain. You've heard my interaction with the guests. This show is unique because we allow you to interact with the people you want to hear from. We let you ask your questions and make your comments directly to them, and they're going to respond to you. So if this is your first time here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, because you definitely want to be along for this ride. We're going to go all the way to the 9 o'clock Eastern time hour. And sometimes we go beyond that, depending on how the conversation goes. So this is definitely a good time. And I want to shout out to one of our other sponsors. They take care of us, and I'm a big fan of theirs. And so let's go ahead, check out Bells of Steel. Why should you buy from them? Well, let Kayvon tell you why.
5 reasons of why to buy from me. Number 1, the best bang for your buck and innovative fitness equipment. Number 2, we put out more educational content. Number 3, our customer service and sales team. Number 4, I spend a ton of time logistics and packaging. Number 5, I've got 9,000 plus reviews. So get on our website and let the games begin.
All right, get on the website, let the games begin. You heard the man say it. And if you want to support the show, all you got to do is go ahead and use this affiliate code when you get there to take you to bellsofsteel.com. It will not interfere with any of the discounts they have run. They got stuff there, whether you want to grab their bare naked powerlifting bar, which is my favorite barbell currently. You want to grab a single stack cable tower, which I also have and I love. And then, you know, you can head over to my guy Matthew Port to porterphysed.com, get some stuff to hook that piece of equipment up. Whatever you want to get. Heck, if you want a modular weightlifting platform, they got a modular weightlifting platform over at Bells of Steel. Whatever you want, they got a bunch of stuff available over there. Of course, kettlebells too. So use that affiliate link that I just posted in the live chat. Head on over to Bells of Steel, and you'll be supporting the channel, and you'll be able to hook up your home gym with some of the best equipment in the market. All right. Now, let's go ahead. Rory, you ready? All right. Well, let's bring my guy Rory on here, because as I just said, excellent equipment companies. Well, he happens to own one. So, given what he's got on, I feel like this is appropriate.
I've played this multiple times.
Do you just like play this at the house, just, you know, randomly?
Oh yeah, yeah. So actually, this is my alarm every morning. That's my alarm. That and referee.
There you go. There you go. Okay. It's funny, because like we find reasons to play the Marine Corps hymn for like no reason. It's like, oh, maybe I should make it a ringtone. Maybe I should, it's
Yeah,
just
you
like whatever.
don't need a reason.
Yeah. Anyway, man, I appreciate you being here, dude.
Absolutely.
Always good having you on here. I appreciate you jumping in. And it's like one of those last minute things. I was like, hey, Rory, help. I had people
Yeah, absolutely.
reschedule on me last minute. So I know you got a lot going on, man. Let me see if I can. You see, I'm in an alternate location, undisclosed. All right, so I'm going to. It's like every time I come here, though, I always have like something missing. So not come here specifically, but I mean like anytime I move to an alternate location, it's like there's some component missing. So last week I didn't have headphones. Everybody was saying that I was in a hostage situation, which is not true. I want to assure everybody. So I was like, all right, well, I want to make sure that I bring my headphones, right? So I brought the headphones. Unfortunately, what I did not bring is my mouse. So I am now looking for the dang questions I have for you that I wrote down. But
while you do that, I'll put my headphones on.
okay. Now we actually be able to hear you. We actually be able to hear each other.
Well, they're not plugged into anything, but we can match at least.
They're not plugged into anything. But yeah, you know what? Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. So you know what? The heck with it. I'm going to just freestyle because I know what I want to talk to you about. All right, so
we'll do it live.
Hey, that's a good idea. All right, so the first thing is you've had a lot of stuff going on, recently. I've seen your products getting a lot more traction. And by traction, I mean like people are talking about them, So let's begin by saying let's just talk about how important that is for you. Like what have you noticed in terms of sales just from like the increased amount of conversation? How is that helping you out?
Yeah, so it means everything. Obviously, anyone that's been watching Garage Gym Reviews has had nothing but great things to say about the megalith handles, and Garage Gym Reviews has over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, so they have a huge audience. And in the home gym space, I know people have their personal beefs with Coop. I don't have anything against Coop or anything, but he's done nothing but good for me and the company. So I will continue to sing his praises because he sings mine. So I'm very, very blessed by that, and I've noticed huge upticks in sales because of that. So especially during this Black Friday weekend, or really it was the whole month of November, but I ran a Black Friday weekend special or week special into Cyber Monday, and sales went through the roof, which is amazing. So for me personally, I had ordered a lot of inventory. So I was, for the first time, sitting on a lot of inventory, which was kind of scary for a small company because all my money was in that. So I was really getting worried. But I prayed to God that something good would happen, and that he would take over. His plan would be there, and that he has fulfilled that prayer for sure, which is amazing because there's a big weight off my shoulders. I was really stressed for a little while with a bunch of inventory, thousands of dollars sitting in my home gym, and by the grace of God, most of those are accounted for, which is great.
Nice. I'm gonna say, well, before I say what I was gonna say, let me go ahead because it has begun. Okay, so Kurt Locker says, "Looking sharp. Too bad the mustache is lacking, but good try, Rory." But then he followed up.
I overtrimmed the other day, so I feel really bad. Yeah.
Well, he said, obviously my insecurity is what leads me to lash out irrationally. Y'all are hilarious. All right, it's like what do you call it? Mustache wars. All right,
Yeah.
because I'd like to get Kim from Barbell Rescue in there. He can be like the referee and judge, since he's obviously he's out of the service, so he can do whatever he wants with his mustache. So he's the best. He's the best one to judge. Active duty mustache status, which should really. That's all right. Which should really be a competition. So
Yes.
you mentioned, so we started out talking about your handles. What and yes, by the way, I found my questions. Yes, so success to me. But what is the thing about? I mean, obviously sales are good, but what's the thing about the business that has you the most fired up? As we close out 2024.
Yeah, so in terms of Roman strength, I have a lot of really cool things on the horizon. Things that I'm working with Britton from Vendetta. Britton is kind of my go-to guy. He does all my CAD drawings. We bounce ideas off each other. he also had a big part in the megalith handles with the design of that, which I mentioned last time. And I also mentioned it on the Garage Gym Experiment podcast. But I've got a lot of cool ideas, and I think I'm trying to make the megalith handles like an ecosystem of sorts. Obviously, not a huge ecosystem because it's a handle, but something along the lines of what Chris at Mutant Metals is doing with the Arc series and his handles. I want people that paid $300 for a pair of handles to be able to use them for more than just lever arms. I want to give the customers, as much versatility as possible. So I've got a couple cool ideas coming out. Hopefully by Home Gym Con, I'll at least have some prototypes, if not the products.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have the products available at least as prototypes at Home Gym Con 2025, but maybe even on sale at that point. But some cool things coming up that I'm really excited about.
All right, so this is the current version of them, and you're saying that you're going to make some. I realize you don't want to like spoil it, for the sake of protect yourself, but I'm saying this is the current version, and then you're going to make some improvements, or maybe not improvements, but you're going to add on to what's currently available, like you said, to make it an ecosystem.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. So anybody who's not familiar with them, that's why I pulled them up on screen. They are available in 1 inch or 5/8, depending on what size holes your power rack has. So there's that. And you got another shout out here. Let's see here. Yeah. So Matthew Porter said that he loves your handles, and he actually just texted me a picture of the handles. So yeah, he's a big fan of that. Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of Matt's handles. Matt's coming out with that little stubby handle with a beautiful. His new logo is awesome. He's texted me the other day. Matt's got a handle coming out. He's already teased on his Instagram, but it's like a stubby little single arm tricep pull down, whatever you want. You can do multiple things with it, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
He actually talked about it. He talked about those on the show last week, and but so they're actually, I'm not sure, Matthew, if you still have them available for pre-order, go ahead and drop that link in the live chat. Since Rory kind of like served up, like what do you call like the alley-oop? Like you threw it up. You set him up for the dunk, right, with the alley-oop. And so go ahead if you still have them, because they are on pre-order. So anybody wants to jump on that, in that first batch, they can do it. Now let's jump into something else, especially since Jake, I think Jake is still on here. And so I want to hear his reaction to this too. So you shared something on Instagram that I found interesting, right? And I found it interesting both because of the question and because of the responses, right? So for the sake of anybody who didn't see the question, I'll just say it. You asked, as a consumer, is it important that the owner of a gym equipment company actually lift? All right. So that was your question. So now I have questions for you based on that question. All right. Here we go down the rabbit hole. First of all, why did you ask it? Like, and I don't mean like, why would you ask something like that? But I mean more like, I know that if I post a question on anything, on any sort of social media, I'm trying to figure out something, the answer to something that'll help my business. And I'd rather not just guess. I want to actually know, I'm trying to take the temperature of the people who are most likely to, be consuming my content, right? So for you, were you trying to find out if it matters to people that you post your training? Were you trying to find out something else? Like, what were you trying to find out by asking the question? Or were you just trying to get discussion started?
No, you nailed it. It was just kind of what I wanted to post on Instagram for content, because I can only take so many pictures of handles before people get bored. So I wanted to see what people wanted to see. Obviously, there's different jam arm setups and different uses of the handles that I could post, but social media has been my entire reason that I have a company. Like, I haven't paid a dime in advertising. Thankfully, the community has been good enough to me and God, of course, but to be able to just post something and then it take off and people like it and they repost it. The home gym community as a whole really is a community. I know everyone says that, but it really is like a really tight knit community. and when someone sees something cool, they actually share it. Whereas like in the other thing that I do, I play music as well. I could post a song that took me, a month to write that I poured my heart into. I'll post it, it gets 6 likes, and no one shares it except my mom. But when it comes to cool liver art stuff or cool home gym stuff in general, people are really good about sharing that kind of thing. So I gotta say bye to my daughter. Bye bye.
Oh, of course.
You could say, "Hey, I love you. Can I kiss? Mwah. I love you. Have a good day."
Hey, we should have interviewed her. She's the star of the show.
know.
We should have interviewed her.
I love you. Bye bye. Mwah.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't.
No.
Couldn't help them. Okay, cool. Anyways, but yeah, so it was really about the content. So, and I was actually going to post a more inflammatory question about now that it was going to be now that Kabuki doesn't have. I'm
Oh
drawing
boy.
his name right now. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now.
The guy. Chris Duffin.
Chris Duffin.
Chris Duffin.
I was going to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I was going to post a more inflammatory question and say that now that Chris Duffin is no longer with Kabuki, does that make me the strongest gym equipment owner? But then I thought of Mackie from Mackie Innovations, and that guy's a monster. So
Man,
I'm definitely not the strongest. That guy deadlifts 800 for reps. He's a freak.
Yeah, I was about to say there's some people out there. I don't know what Spud Bartley is still lifting, but he's a pretty strong dude as well.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, but hey, you're catching up to him. So, hey, you're I think, hey, hang on. We're listening to your daughter. Your daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, you need to tell your wife not to say anything out of pocket because we're listening to them in the car, right? No, that's fine. It's okay.
It's a day, guys.
Hey, bro, my man, I was at the hospital for a few hours, leading right into the show.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
All right, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, but I know somebody better get your daughter her cheese right now because she is unhappy.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Sorry. I couldn't hear that. So, yes, I'll let you watch the replay to hear all that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyways, I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's
Yeah,
cool,
it
man.
is
It's actually
This
that's
is
why
what
you're
I
doing all the. I'm like, this is why you're doing it. That's why you're all putting all that into is because of that, stuff like that. So that doesn't bother me a bit, man. But anyway, so to go back to what we were saying is like my follow up. So you wanted to see what people, kind of like, well, what do people want to see? And that makes complete sense to me. And I went ahead and I pulled up the video, so you're deadlifting and then you got the question right there. So my next question is, were you surprised by the responses? Because the initial responses were like, it doesn't matter, who cares? And then of course, I'm not a contrarian like Tim from. I told Tim from Gym Craft, I was like, dude, you're a contrarian, right? So I don't disagree just for the sake of disagreeing. But I do think that I tend to be a little bit on my own page sometimes in how I look at things, and so I think that my answer, I think I might have been the first person to say, yeah, it matters to me. And I think that my reason was like, but I think my reason made sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the car analogy is good.
Yeah, so were you surprised by the responses and why?
I was. Not totally surprised, but I was surprised by the number. It was like 80, over 80% to 20. So it was a definitive yes, we care. I was expecting, because even after I asked the question, I really thought internally, I'm like, do I really care? Like, I don't know the owner of Rogue lifts,
Yeah.
but I still want that Rogue Rhino functional trainer. Like, and I would
Yeah.
buy it whether or not he lifts or not. Like,
Yeah.
so in that case, I was kind of thinking like, well, do I actually care? And the truth is, I do, because I think I'm more likely to, at least myself personally, I'm more likely to buy from a company that I know shares my same values, whether that's personally, or in the gym, or like my goals. So
Yeah.
if they have that, then yeah. But I'm also going to connect my headphones again, so I apologize because I could hear myself on your thing.
Okay. Uh-oh. I think we just lost him. So, oh, he's
No,
back.
sorry, hang on.
No, you're all right. So, for the sake of I guess this is sort of patting myself on the back. I'll just reiterate to people what I said. So what I did was I said it matters to me in the same way that, for the same reason that I want the people who are involved with making the car I drive to actually drive themselves, because I want them to understand what it feels like to hit the brakes when it's wet on the street. I want them to feel like what it feels like when you get into a car and the headroom isn't quite right. Because I've hit my head on like trying to get in the cars. I'm not the tallest dude, but your proportions matter. So as you're getting in the car, you're trying to scrunch over and like you hit your head on stuff, or it's just not comfortable. I want them to experience my pain points, because if they don't experience my pain points, they're not going to make something that is, I would say, the best product for me. And what I would say, though, is I don't care if the owner of a gym equipment company lifts heavy.
Yeah.
They don't have to be as strong as I am. Okay. But I just want them to experience what it's like to lift, because certain products, man, and I'll use like an easy one, a plate tree. Everybody who's used a plate tree at some point or the other has reached down to grab a 45-pound plate with one hand and try to just drag it off. If the angle of the horn of the plate tree isn't right, you won't be able to drag it off with one hand. You will have to reach down and kind of like shimmy it off. And a lifter would know that, because they'd be like, oh, well, that sucks. Okay, let's change the angle, right? Somebody who doesn't lift, who just knows design specs, would never know that, because to them, it's fine. So, yeah. And as far as, and the thing is too, is like, yeah, you could also say, and depending on the size of the company, you could make the argument that as long as the person in charge of the design, the engineering department or whatever is a lifter, then it's fine. But I still think that at a certain point, the person at the very top needs to use the product. Because if you don't, like, why should I care about your product? Why should I spend my hard-earned money on your product if you don't trust it enough and you're not passionate enough about it yourself to use it? So that's kind of how I see about it. That's kind of how I feel about it. So Carp says, Carp has a very good statement about the other runner. He said the owner doesn't have to, but I would at least want the engineers and the people making the products to be lifters, because I could realize what things are going on. But if the owner's an engineer, then yeah, I want him to be a lifter as well, because he'll be able to tell, if something's right or not. Yeah. So, I mean, just seriously think about it. Let's say whatever kind of car you drive, if you found out that the owner of the company didn't rode a bicycle to work, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh yeah, that's great for the planet maybe or whatever, but doesn't that make you kind of feel some kind of way? You know what I mean? You're like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah.
And I like the way that Jake. I'm sorry. I like that Jake worded it, because Jake kind of reworded it, and he didn't use the owner part. He Jake from Graduate Experiment, of course. Yeah. And I wanted him to. I wanted to see what he's got a much bigger audience than me, so I wanted to see what the mass people say. And I'm actually looking forward to his podcast where he releases a result as well. But basically, he reworded it to say, people involved in making the gym equipment, do you care if they lift? And that I think everyone can get behind.
Right.
If people aren't testing the product, then you get these copycats, like old Titan, that are just copying specs, like you said.
Mm-hmm. So. I mean, and then also, I'm a firm believer though that he said you don't want to. Carp said you don't want to forward car salesman that drives a Tesla to work every day. You're not the same. You don't want to. Okay, he's a Ford. You don't want a Ford car salesman that drives a Tesla every day. Yeah. Jake said that the results are 80% versus 20%. Because I think that people kind of look at like gym equipment differently than they look at other things. And I'm like, still, like, the reason why I look at it the same way I look at his car is because I'm trusting my life to the gym equipment, especially since I lift alone a lot of times, or it's me and my little girl. So I don't want to do anything where she's got to call 911 because daddy did something and something broke on him, you know, whatever. It didn't do what it was supposed to be doing. Michael is another inventor, and he said, well, yeah, you could be, you're disconnected from the user experience. And think about how often you have companies that grow to a certain size and then they start making stuff. You're like, man, they're out of touch. Well, because it starts at the top, and now you've got people at the very top. Maybe it's a board, and all they're looking at is sales figures. And that's how they start making stuff that just doesn't apply anymore. And I'm like, no, you need to still be connected to the roots. I still want, I don't even know if Phil Knight's still alive, but I still want him wearing Nikes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still want Michael Jordan wearing Air Jordans. I still want you to wear them.
That's a bad day.
Yeah, I'm like, because I want you to still, I mean, I grant you now, you're probably going to have the best one, but I still want you wearing them. You know what I mean? Like, don't sell me underwear if you don't wear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plain and simple. So now, final question. Go ahead.
To that point, I wanted to add on real quick. To that point, like, yes, we care more about the things like that because safety one, but then also because as a home gym owner, we're choosing to spend our money so we work out at home. Like we could all easily spend $10 a month and go to Planet Fitness, and the machines are good. They're Life Fitness stuff. They might have hoist or whatever, or you go to your commercial box gym or whatever, and we could all spend $10 a month and probably save a lot of money, to be honest. But we choose to go out of our way and find the best of the best. The knurling matters, and that's why the home gym con is so cool because you can really nerd out about those small details that no one else would care about. I go into my gym at work, which is awful, and there's no knurling. The bars are bent, and when I try to explain that to people, I'm like, no, it doesn't work for my style of training. They're like, what are you talking about? The knurling? Who cares? Like, they think I'm an alien or like talking about gibberish or whatever. And but the home gym community, we really care about those fine details. So that kind of stuff matters. And if you're not an actual lifter, actually putting your hands on the equipment, it really comes across pretty easily.
Yeah, everybody. So everybody make sure you go and you check out rormanstrength.com so you can see all of Rory's products, including the ones we're talking about here today, the Megalith handles, and then another product that I think we're going to talk about in a little bit that I think doesn't get nearly the amount of love that it deserves. But yeah, everybody go ahead. I got this going across the bottom of the screen. Make sure you guys are checking that out. So before we shift over to talking about your other products, though, I want to know, now that you've got the answer, what, you're like, okay, most people don't care. So now, well, how does that now affect what you're going to post? Because you said, like, I can only post pictures of equipment for so long. Now what? What do you do? So what are you going to do now?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be posting my lead up to Strongman, the throwdown from Kurt's putting on at Home Gym Con 2025. I placed second last year behind Cody from 50 Cal Fitness, as he likes to remind me of. It's actually not Cody. Cody doesn't care as much. It's mostly Derek from 50 Cal that likes to rub my nose on that. But I'm going to probably post some training videos of my Strongman lead up, the training that I do, that kind of stuff. It's going to be, I'll be outdoors in my garage or whatever. So probably stuff like that.
Okay. I think something that this kind of goes towards Jared's comment. Let me go ahead and take that off here because I can read Jared's comment. So Jared says that the head of UPS must not buy anything that has to be shipped to him or her. And I'm like, yeah, because I was ranting about it. I'm like, that's actually an example. It's like you don't have the pain point anymore. So to you, it doesn't matter. And let me say, I do think that they work very hard. The UPS workers work very hard. I worked at UPS. I know it's a thing, man, it's hot. Even if it's cold outside, it's hot in there. You're like, you come out of there, sometimes you're just like, man, you're dehydrated or whatever. So I get it, it's tough. I also say that nobody kidnapped me and forced me to work at UPS. I volunteered for the job. So there's that too. But I think that that's the danger when you start to become too far disassociated from your end user. When you're no longer your customer, you stop identifying with your customer, and I don't think that you can be as effective as a business owner in terms of making the product. And Michael said, yeah, Jared Martin nails it. Yup.
Michael,
Uh,
insane story there, Michael, too. I love that podcast that you had with him, or
oh
the
yeah.
show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Michael V.
Man,
Yeah,
yeah, I think,
very
man,
inspiring. Very inspiring.
yeah. That's one reason why I wanted him to come on because, yeah, I wanted to get an update, but I also didn't get a chance to, in the short time that I spoke with him at Home Gym Con, I didn't get a chance to tell his full story. So
Yeah,
I was like, man, you guys need to see where this guy came from. So
absolutely.
there's that. Actually, I'm on California time and my phone is still back on. My phone hasn't adjusted in terms of the alarms I set. So what you
Oh,
just
okay.
heard was one of the alarms I set to make sure I wake up every Friday to
There
start
you
doing
go. In
show
California.
prep. Yeah. But yeah. All right. Anyway, so I said, we talked about like the responses and what you're going to post because you can only post so many pictures of products. And I think something that a lot of brands, especially smaller brands, don't necessarily do is you don't want to post too much about the design process because you're afraid of getting knocked off. But how this relates to the UPS thing is I think that people need to see stuff like, hey, I'm shipping stuff out today. This is the process. Like I remember Surplus Strength did something that I thought was really cool where he put a video of him putting products in boxes. Like this is what we do. We're putting the products in the box because I think people like to see that side of things. Massonomics has something that I thought was really cool where they showed like I think I don't know if it's still like this, but it was like a basement and they were showing like, hey, these are all the t-shirts and the lift shorts and all that stuff. This is where
Yeah,
they are. You buy one and then we put it in a package and we ship it to you. And I think people like to feel like they know the details about companies like that. So
yeah,
that's another potential kind of thing. Like, hey, because to
yeah.
me
And
it's
I do
like
try to
that's
do that.
boring, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's interesting.
No, I do try to do that, and I noticed that those videos usually get pretty good response. Like every time I have a big order, and my Hyundai Santa Fe is filled with 50 boxes in the back or whatever it is, I try to post that because like I want people to see. I think people see that the Rorman Strength logo and the product looks professional, so they assume that I'm a big business. But I run this
Yeah.
out of I'm sitting in front of my computer in my office. You
Right.
saw my daughters. You heard my daughters screaming for the cheese apparently in the
Yeah.
car. Like
I
it's
hope she
just
got
me.
it.
Like, yeah, yeah. Usually we give her apples in the morning, but now cheese is kind of strange. But she does like cheese, so who
That's
knows?
what it sounded like. I could be wrong, but she's
Yeah,
like, "Ah, what about you?" I know it could
it
be
probably
anything.
was. It
But
probably
yeah.
was. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the replay to hear that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I want everyone to know that like I'm full time army because that pays the bills. Romance Strength doesn't pay the bills. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
hope it can one day. That'd be amazing. And my whole
Yeah.
goal, I think I talked about this with Jake on Garage and Experiment with Britain, that my whole goal out of Romance Strength is to be able to supplement my wife's income so she could stay home and raise our girls. So that would be a
Nice.
dream come true. And if I could do that, it's getting to the point now where that is actually looking like it could be a reality, which is amazing. But we're not there yet by any means. My wife is a teacher, so I don't have a whole lot to supplement. So
Yeah.
teachers don't make a lot of money, but
Sadly. Yeah.
yeah, but if I could do that, that'd be amazing. And that's my whole goal. But the Rorman Strength is not a big. It's just me. I was just a regular home gym owner that just kind of came with a cool product, and then it just kind of took off. But we're not making millions over here. It's just me in my office and my home gym. So I like to show that process behind the scenes of me packing up the boxes. And I don't use UPS. I use the postal service, the USPS, and I
Yeah.
have not had a whole lot of issues with them so far. So and the only reason I've done that is because it was easy because the boxes are free. You get them, they're free. Everything fits in there, and I pack them up and just drop them off. That's what I do. And Dean from Black Widow keeps telling me I need to get on the pickup train. I guess you could have them come to your house and pick up all your orders. I still
Yeah.
haven't done that. I like something about going there and dropping it off to the guy and having
Right.
that interaction. But maybe when I get a little busier and I'm doing 50 orders at a time or something, I'll drop them off. But or I'll have pickups. But either way, yeah, Roman Strength is not a big company, so I'm gonna still post some things about like the behind the scenes process because I think as a consumer, I like seeing that too. Like I know Jason from Surplus, and I've seen him do his mag pins, like where he'll screw on the thing and put the little sticker on the top, the little logo. And I like seeing that from companies. I like
Yeah.
seeing that it's not just some giant corporation. So
Yeah.
that's important to me.
So I was actually going to just tell you this offline, but you know, uh, like something that I think would be interesting. But I'll just tell you now.
Yeah.
Because something that I learned, I was actually talking about this with my wife yesterday, is people will reach out to me and ask me about the show, right? And I'm gonna admit that it is gratifying when it's somebody who told me in the beginning that this wouldn't work, and then they're reaching out, and then they reach out to ask me how I'm doing it. So that's gratifying. I still tell them, that's fine. Because, and this how it relates to what I'm about to tell you is, people can know how to do a thing, but sometimes they don't have the will to do it, right? Because it's not important enough to them. Okay. So I recognize in you someone who's going to have the will. If you decide that this is important to you, you're going to carry it through. So I don't think I'm giving, even though I'm saying it and your competitors could hear me say this, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to follow through like you will. So something that I think would be awesome is when you're doing your video where you're taking orders to the post office, you shout out the people who are getting it.
For sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, you don't have to say their whole name, privacy, or whatever, but you can still say, hey, look, Tony, here it comes. Thank you, man. You know, you helping support my family's dream. Or, hey, Debbie, here, it's on the way. Hope your husband loves his Christmas present. You know, that kind of stuff. Because then it's like, oh, wow, you know, and then it also gives you a chance to talk about the business. You're like, hey, thanks to you guys, you know, we got this many back here. Thanks to you guys, we're this much closer to my wife's income. She's that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
yeah, so for me, it makes so basically you're still just showing a video of yourself driving to the post office, but now you got something to talk about that's different, and now people are gonna be like, oh man, I'm looking forward to getting shouted out. You know what I mean? And I think that's hey, make sure when you get it, tag me. You know, post a video and tag me so that I can see you liking it. You know, using it because I love seeing how people love our stuff, that kind of thing. I think that would be really, I think that'd be really compelling. To watch, and now you're creating a video dialogue with your customers. So there's
I like it a lot. I'm gonna do that. I've got about 80 orders to fill, so I like it. I'm gonna do that.
80 free content. Man, I wish I had 80 free content ideas. All right, so let's. We got some questions here. So this is referring back to you talking about your training for the show. So Kurt Locker said, "Heck yeah, Rory." Steady Daddy says, "Trophy inbound. Finally got my printer up." And Jared wants to know what's next for your giant home gym barn. So let's go ahead and you can go ahead and talk about that, and then we'll go into the next question I had for you. So what's next for the what do you call the Rory Taj Mahal? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we'll call it the Taj Mahal. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So if for anyone that doesn't know, I have a little video of it, kind of walking through it. But I basically the next thing that I'm going to get is either going to be some kind of squat machine, or whether it's like the belt squat or something like that, a dedicated one, and or a functional trainer. I have reached out to Rep. No one else take this idea, but I did reach out to Rep about Home Gym Con. I asked them preemptively what they're going to be bringing to Home Gym Con. I'd really like to get an Arcadia, whether it's the Arcadia or the Arcadia Max, either one, just some kind of functional trainer. And I'm in the Rep ecosystem already, so I might as well take that. And it's a good one. So I'd like to get a dedicated functional trainer. I'm not really interested in getting the rack, like the Aries or anything like that. I like my rack to be my rack, and I'll have my functional trainer. Now that I have the room for it, my garage is 600 square feet. The barn is 600 square feet, so I got plenty of room for machines and stuff like that. So
even with the football field.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
yeah, football field, volleyball court, swimming pool. There's a lot in there.
It is, right? Yeah, in 600 square feet. It's a mini one. Yeah. It's a football table for the soccer field. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're looking at a functional trainer, a standalone functional trainer,
Yeah, because
something like
my
that.
wife is gonna.
Have you thought
Yeah,
about
my
just
wife.
getting a cable crossover?
What was that?
Have you
No,
thought about just
no.
getting a cable crossover instead?
No, I really haven't. Just that'd be pretty big. I think the functional trainer will do everything I want to do.
Okay.
I pretty much train like a bodybuilder, and then I just throw in strongman or powerlifting stuff in there. But my base training has always been like bodybuilding. I'll do my powerlifting or my strongman movements, and then all my accessory stuff is just bodybuilding stuff. Because who
Yeah.
doesn't want to be big and jacked, and it keeps you healthy, it keeps your joints strong, or whatever. So yeah, I think, and my wife's gonna start using it a little bit more. So I think the having a good cable system would be easy for her because she doesn't nerd out like we do about knurling and
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff. So having something that she could just go in, grab a handle, and put it on there and get her stuff done would be important for me. So on that note too, maybe like a some kind of hip thrust machine or whatever it
Mm.
is, something like that for her because obviously legs and glutes are important for girls and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what so that's why we have a hip thrust bench because my wife. We actually got the cable stack, the bells and steel
Yeah.
cable stack because of my wife. It's like
Yeah.
because to me it's like I got I can get it. I mean I had a cable system, but it was more like it was the Spud Ink, the ones that you put up and take down. I was like that's fine.
Yeah.
She's like no, that's not fine. We want this thing, and so all right, well there you go. So now we have it in that. Yeah. So and Michael says his X Mark has a 200-pound stacks in a 2-to-1 pulley system, so something like that. I think I think that is a solid thing.
Yeah.
So
the unfortunate part about being strong is that you actually need a lot of weight. It kind of stinks. Like the stronger you
Yeah.
get, the more weight you need. So like I need big stacks. So unfortunately, 2-to-1 ratio on a 200.
That's a
pound
bar.
stack would be enough for me. Yeah.
that should be like you need to have like a cowboy hat on in the picture. So I need big stacks.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. So I said I want to talk about another product that I don't think it's enough love, and that's your dual-sided weight horns, right?
Yeah.
I talked about them the last time you were on here. I'm going to talk about them again until people, I guess, see the light. Because like right now, it seems like it's kind of like what's it, Cinderella, where like Cinderella didn't get any love, her sisters got all the love,
Yeah.
So I feel like in your system, the megalith handles are the sisters, right?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
the dual-sided weight horn, this is Cinderella.
That's Cinderella. There we go.
Because what I like about it is again, so they're called dual-sided because one side is set up so they can go for a 1-inch hole rack, and the other side is if you have a 5/8 hole rack. And I like that because as someone who we may be done switching racks now, but as someone who has switched racks multiple times, I want the ability to, if I, just take these and put them on it, just turn them around if I go back to a 1-inch hole rack instead of having to buy all new weight horns, which is what normally happens. You got to get all new weight horns, right? And it's just a pain. So for the sake of people who are just now seeing them for the first time, do a commercial for your weight horns
Yeah.
and tell everybody why they should
Absolutely.
grab them.
Yeah, so I mean they're beautiful. They really are. When I got them in the first time, I was blown away at the quality. So it's stainless steel, which is no corrosion resistance. They hold it pretty well to scratching and stuff like that too, because it's stainless. But that little plastic thing, that black circle thing you see there, is a little cup that goes over the end. So you basically just put that in there. It's got a hole in it, so you just thread it on, so there's no metal contact. Like Carp was alluding to earlier, no one likes metal to metal contact, so that's for that. But the good thing with this is that there's multiple different possibilities. You could even add, I haven't experimented a whole lot with this, but because you'll have another thread on the other side, you could put something in that other end and you could use it for band peg, or you could maybe even get two of them extended together and make a 30-inch long weight horn if you wanted to. There's different options for that. But yeah, mostly they're just beautiful. And they work really well. And
So
they're true 2-inch. So they use all collars, not just axle collars.
all right, so they have 11 and a half inches of loadable sleeve length, right? And the thing that stood out to me is because we have not only I got a pair of hundreds that need to get off the floor. One actually is living on my it's got a temporary home right now, but I've got my 100-pound plates that need to get off the floor. But more than that, my wife has a bunch of. She's got more bumper plates than our vertical plate tree can hold. and it's to the point where you can't really roll it because it's actually exceeding the weight capacity. So I was like, well, let's take the bumper plates you use most often and put them on the inside of the rack where we have some available space. So that's why I started looking at these again. I do wonder though, do you have any plans to ever sell them in pairs instead of just a single?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Because a lot of people, the only reason I did it individually is because in the beginning I did have a few people that just wanted one or two, which I thought, or rather just one, and I thought that was kind of strange. But enough people did that, like two or three in the beginning. So I was like, well, maybe I should just do it as individuals. But obviously, with a pair, it's easier. It saves a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
Because on my end too, a lot of people that don't, they just assume they're sold in pairs. And they buy one, and then I have to reach out and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I noticed you bought."
You know, you only
one."
got one, right?
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
just in case that was a mistake, but that's no problem. Reach out, and I try to catch that early on, and then I reach out all the time. So same thing with the knurled nuts. I'll do those in pairs probably as well, just because it saves confusion.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to say I don't like it. Yes, I do like it myself. What I'm saying is the reason why we got it in the first place is because my wife wanted it, because I would have gotten something else because there's other stuff that I wanted first. I would have been like, yeah, this is a nice to have. This is what I would consider a need. You know what I mean? As far as the stack machine goes. But yeah, I like it. Carp says you need one of those surplus strength 400-pound weight stacks, you know, maybe. And that's actually something that's like, I know you said you reached out to, you're in the rep ecosystem, but you and Jason live in Nashville. Like, have you guys thought about doing any kind of collabs?
We haven't. I'm definitely open to it. Jason's an awesome dude, and he makes amazing equipment. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
You got that, we're both Army, you
Yeah.
can go, let's go, you know what? Face-to-face contact, I find, is better for meetings.
Yeah.
And, the early bird gets the worm. So tomorrow morning, first thing, go knock on Jason's door. And that's probably the best. That way, yeah, because then that way you can start the conversation before anybody else gets a chance to distract him with something non-essential. So that's what you ought to do.
Yeah.
That's just what it pops up top of my head would be the best way to approach it.
Yeah,
If you can video that meeting, I would like that as well. Yeah, man. So let's talk about these anabolic flip-flops that you've been talking about.
Yeah.
There's a rumor out there that they will grow your chest hair while you wait. You just put them on and wait a little bit, and man or woman, chest hair just sprouts, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about these anabolic flip-flops.
Yeah, it's true. All science suggests that.
All science.
All science. Yeah, trust science. We learned in 2020 that you gotta trust the science. So.
Oh,
trust the
yeah.
science.
Okay.
And don't question it either. Don't question
At
the science.
all.
Okay. Don't question
Okay.
it. Because yeah. People have caught on that I wear flip flops all the time. I think I even did the log lift off at Home Gym Con 2024 in flip flops. So I thought it'd be kind of funny to put a pair of flip flops on there. I actually don't own a pair. Full disclosure, I got a pair on the way. But basically, I use a print on demand service for all my merch, and that way I don't have to keep a lot of stuff on hand. So basically, I could go in there and make anything I want, just throw my logo on it, and that's one of the ones that I threw my logo on. It was kind of a joke, but it's also kind of awesome.
Yeah. I mean, now what if this ends up being like your best-selling product and you're like,
Oh.
you know what? We were both able to retire just from our jobs just because these flip-flops they just took off, man. I don't know what's going on.
I would love that. I really want to get a deal with Reef because Reef is my favorite kind of flip flop brand. So if I get a deal with Reef, these are just like your little typical shower shoes that you've, I'm sure, had in the Marines.
And we called them Ho Chi Minhs for various
There you go,
reasons.
yeah. Yep, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Completely
I'm
not PC.
Yeah, I'm a thong sandal kind of guy. I like the little thing in between my toe. I can't do the slides, but slides would be better for a logo because then you can actually see it. But maybe I'll put some slides on there as well. I know a lot of people like slides because you can wear socks with slides, but I'm not a slide fan. I'm a true flip flop guy.
So
Maybe that's a poll I'll do. That's a poll I'll do. Flip flop.
there you go. That you will probably get a ton of responses from that because I remember Kelly Starrett was like, he said you can't. No true athlete. I still remember he said no true athlete wears flip flops. And I was like, what? And he said, because your foot can't function optimally because your toes are supposed to spread.
Yeah,
Well,
and
if
it's
you're wearing
more.
a flip, yeah, that's right. But then I said, didn't like the Viet Cong like win a war in those?
Yeah.
Like they're like dragging howitzers up a mountainsides while wearing. I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of empirical evidence that those are okay. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
just
I feel my feet are stronger because I always wear flip flops. Because a lot
yeah.
of the shoes, like, and I know Kurt's a big fan of the barefoot shoes, and that's the way I kind of look at flip flops. My feet are, I have wide feet. I'm barely 5'10", and I wear a size 12, so I have the foot of a 6'5" man. But so for me, shoes are always really too narrow. I have a wide, big foot, and for me, I always wear flip flops mainly just as comfort. But I think my feet are actually stronger, and I actually do feel that helps me in my lifting. I don't do that for lifting, but I do think it helps quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see here. So we've got some comments here. First of all, Carp is offering to show you. Carp's going to be part of this. Carp will get you to drive the car. And then you got to hold the camera because he said he knows where the warehouse is.
Yeah,
And Kurt says this is Fauci science. Yep, that's the best kind.
trust me.
Said people are scared of Rory in flip flops. You don't want to see him in tennis shoes. Trust me. Yeah, I mean, you're a strong dude. I tell everybody. Even when I was doing the covering the competition, I say that's a strong dude that you guys are. Said some people when I just know they're strong, I'm like, okay, I know he can lift this. I just want to talk like, what's he gonna lift next? Like, that's
Yeah,
whatever. He can pick that up. It's no big deal. I'm not even concerned with this opener. It's like whatever. He'd have to like sneeze and fart at the same time for him to miss this opener. It's just he's got it right. All right. So what's coming up for the holiday season from Rorman Strength? Because we're squarely in the holiday season right now. We're
yeah,
ramping up to Christmas. People are buying Christmas gifts and whatnot. So what
yeah.
do you have going on?
Yeah, so I still have a sale going on merchandise. So if you want to support the company, I always say it's a really good way to support what I'm doing over here without buying a pair of Megalith handles, because not everyone owns jammer arms, and not everyone wants to spend $300 on a pair of jammer arms. But if you do want to support the company and what I'm doing, buying a T-shirt is really cool, and it's just really cool to me that people want to wear my logo. So all merch is on sale until Christmas Eve, like through the end of Christmas Eve. If you use merch. Code merch 15 will save you 15%, which basically, and I have a bunch of hats. Yeah, there you go. Hats, t-shirts, tank tops, all that kind of stuff. Got a couple patches. So yeah, if you want to support the company that way, that goes all the way through Christmas Eve. And then in terms of new products, I'm just trying to ramp up. I'll tease this because it's not really a big tease, but I do have an option for the Megalith handle coming that will be a quick attach option. So it
Oh,
takes the exact same, because the one piece of criticism I've gotten about Megalith handles is that they take a long time to thread on and off, because basically I use a 5.5 inch 1 inch bolt or 5/8 bolt, but it's 5.5 inches long, and there's a good inch and a quarter hanging out of the end of the upright. So there's a lot of threading on of the weight horn or neural nut that you have to do, and some people complain about that. I personally don't care. I think it's a small detail, but a lot of people do care about that quick attach option. So I'm working on a bracket that will adapt to make that a quick attach option. So you just pop it on, secure it with a pin, and then you're done. And the first person that ever told me that was actually Gunnar Peterson. And if Gunnar Peterson tells you something about gym equipment, you definitely take notes and take it seriously. So that's the next thing I'm focused on, because I have some other applications I'm hoping will take over, maybe in a different market.
so for people who don't know, Gunnar Peterson is like a celebrity trainer.
Yeah.
I don't mean it's not just that he's a famous trainer, is that he trains celebrities as well. He's
Yes.
not just like one of those, he knows his stuff. Let's just say it like that.
He's an
He
actual
wrote
trainer.
for golly, several of the muscle magazines or
Muscle and
fitness
Fitness.
magazines. But yeah, he
Yeah.
wrote for several of them, and he was like I think he was like an editor for them or something like that as well. So
I believe
yeah,
so. He's also a trainer for the Lakers for like 15 years. He
yeah,
was
yeah. The
the
dude, he knows
when
his
they
stuff.
yeah. When it says celebrities, like it's not like some celebrities like D list, like A list celebrities. Like you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
Brad
yeah.
Kardashians,
Like they will go to him and say, "Hey, I gotta get in shape for
Jennifer.
this."
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jennifer Aniston. Like it's not like he is the personal trainer for celebrities. Or he
Yeah,
was. He was in LA, but now he's got a gym in Nashville now, which
yeah.
I've been to a few times, and it's awesome.
Nice. All right. So hey, Carp's got to get out of here because he's actually got to go to work. So all right, fine, be an adult. And I know you got to go as well because you probably got to be in You got to be in formation soon. So before you go, tell everybody like basically how can they keep up with everything you got going on, see all your social media content, videos of foot videos or something. I don't know, whatever you got going on over there. All right. So
if
go
there's
ahead and
enough
let everyone.
demand, if there's enough demand, I might make a OnlyFans for feet. Just let me know in my DMs. Just
I'm
at
not
Rorman.
interested. Let me
Okay,
go ahead
good.
and
Okay.
I'm not on board.
Well, 100% of people polled so far have said no, but no. All joking aside, the link right there that John has put up, romanstrength.com. That's where all this stuff is. Again, that code merch15 it will save you 15% on merch. Anything you want on the store, and then yeah, I mean, if you're a Jammer Arm fan, if you need any persuading, just go watch a Garage Gym Reviews video, and he speaks very highly of them. There's really nothing on the market like them. I know it's just the best Jammer Arm handle on the market. There's really no other competition at the moment. So if you're a Jammer Arm fan and you're looking to take your Jammer Arms to another level, try them out.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Unfortunately, I might have known. Carlos says I'm about that foot life. It's just you, dog. It's really just you. Let's go back to Randy Jackson. That's a
Yep.
no for me, dog.
No for me,
It's gonna
dog.
be a no for me, dog. All right. So yeah. Anyway, I appreciate you taking time out again. Like I said, man, short notice, and
Yeah, no
I knew I
problem.
could count on you. So have a good day, man, and
Hey, I
I'll be
appreciate you
talking to
guys.
you. And
Yeah, God bless
hey,
you
and
guys.
anything you need me to get out there, whatever, keep on sending the stuff, tagging
Oh
me.
yeah.
All
Here,
right, I'll do what I can.
you get this out. Get one of these out. I've been showing this all day, but this is Britain from Vendetta Strength. This is his knurled mug, and as you can see, I could lift it, but it's still stainless, solid stainless. So yeah, go get yourself one of these as well. Christmas is coming
Okay,
up. This is a really cool Christmas gift. You could
nice.
even
All right.
put your favorite. He's got a shot glass. You could even put your favorite bottle of Jack in there if you want.
Oh, there you go. All right. Drink
Cool.
from that, and you'll deadlift 700 pounds and be able
Yes,
to finally wear those flip flops. So there you go.
exactly.
All
God
right,
bless you
man.
all. Thanks, John,
All right, man.
for everything. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Later.
Have a good day.
All right,
Bye.
and that was my guy Rory Ellis from the founder of Rorman Strength, also Rory Ellis Music. The dude is a very strong guy. So one more time, you guys see that link going across the bottom of the screen. Make sure that you guys go there, bookmark it, and then use that link to find his social media handles and all that, and follow him on social media. So you can keep up with everything that he's got going on. All right, we got a few minutes before my next guest comes on, so let's just go ahead and throw another banner up there while we're throwing banners up. And I say, look, there are 719 of you guys watching right now. I need 719 likes. I don't have 719 likes for some reason, so I need 719 likes from you guys. I know some of you watching like maybe on your TV or you're listening as you're driving or something like that. Just, that's fine. Stay safe first, all right? But as soon as you get to where you're able to pull over, you're at a stop and it's safe, do me a favor, hit like on the video. And if you've not subscribed already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. All right. So, as I said, we got one more guest coming up for the day. And if I could get, not having a mouse is really a pain. All right. So that was my guy, Rory Ellis. And let's go ahead and take that off of there. And let's minimize this. And we're getting ready to give a shout out. All right, so there you go. It's almost 8 o'clock. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. Appreciate you guys for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. This is your morning drive time companion. We're going to ride with you all the way to the 9 o'clock Eastern hour. Sometimes we go beyond that, but probably not going to go beyond that today. So you guys want to make sure that you hit that like button, hit subscribe if this is your first time. And like I said, you are in for a serious, definite treat. Also, let me go ahead and shout out another one of our show sponsors, and that is Ion Fitness. If you're looking for a way to invest, you want to go to Ion. Let me make sure I say this correctly. Right here, you want to go to Ion It's the best way to invest on the market. You want to go to ion.com, and it's spelled AION, ion.com. I think this is the best way to invest on the market. They become part of your body, but they increase your body weight, so you're going to get more work done in the same amount of time. And make sure that when you get there, you use promo code Garage Gym Life at checkout, so you can save 10% and you'll be able to support this channel as well. So there you go. That's ion.com. All right. And let's check out the comment section. Yes. Okay. So I'm aware that you can like on your TV, but a lot of people don't know that you can like on your TV because they just don't, especially if they're casting to the TV. Sometimes they just don't know how to. All I'm saying is I understand. Okay. I understand that there are reasons why people don't click the like button, but I'm asking you, click the like button. It's free and it doesn't take, it takes a second to do it. Just do me a favor, hit like for me. Even if you don't want to subscribe, at least hit the like button. Help me drive the likes up so that YouTube will show this video to more people who may enjoy this content. Look at Rory. He's supposed to be in formation. Yes, we just discussed the fact that he had to go because he had to get information, right? But here he is in the chat. Nah, I appreciate you, man. He said I liked the video yesterday. That would be the video that I posted showing how I get ready for the show, where I'm shaving and I got the music playing. Like it just calms me down. Y'all see how animated I am? If I didn't do that process, I'd probably be even more fired up. So yeah, it would not be good for me or the rest of the family. In fact, I already got a text when I was doing Recliner Rage earlier. I got a text from my wife. It just said one word: yelling. So that was the signal. Let's bring it down a notch. Let's bring it. I don't mind entertaining y'all, but I got to live with her all the time, and so we brought it down a notch. We brought the decibels down. All right. So let's see here. As I said, my next guest, see if Mario is gonna be all right. Got myself queued up here. Okay. There we go. All right, so we're all queued up and I'm ready to go. So Mario, if you can see me, it says device is not connected. So I do not see you. All right. So I need you to. I'm not sure what you got. Oh, you might have to connect your camera. You got to go into settings and connect your camera and your audio. And then I'll be able to bring you on because I can't see you. I see your name, but I can't see you. I should be able to see you. So you got to go to, I don't know if you're using a laptop or a phone, but basically just go into the settings. And when you click settings, it'll have a thing for audio and video. Click video and it'll, and just enable your camera. And that should do it. You might have to go out and come back in. All right. No, you can actually. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying you're not telling me that you appreciated the video from yesterday. You're saying that you clicked like on the video before the live stream starts. Yes, you can. Now, I will caution you that if you put a message in the live chat before the video starts, those sometimes disappear. So you want to make sure if you have a question. And let's say you're like, well, I'm not going to be able to watch live. And I want to make sure I get my question out there. Wait till the stream starts before you post your question. Because sometimes questions will disappear if they've been on there for too long. If they're on there too far ahead of when the live stream starts. So if somebody has had that happen to them already, and I wouldn't know, I apologize, but that's pretty much what happened. Because if I see any questions, especially if I start the stream and I immediately see comments, what I do is I'll star those so that they don't go away, and then I read them. But so if that's happened to somebody like you, like, man, how come you didn't read my question? That's probably what happened, that you were on too early. So I apologize. So the best bet is to just wait till the stream starts, put your question, and then And then if you got to go, that's fine, because you can always listen to the answer on replay. Mario, I see that you are logged on, but I still do not see your face. So you have to enable your camera. Yes. If you are using your phone, I wonder. See something here. Let me see. I'm trying to help my man get on here. No, I can't find the app. StreamYard. All right. So, yeah. So if you're using the StreamYard app on your phone, there's you got to click a thing to enable your camera. That's a stand up. Stand up. There we go. All right. While we wait, I just want to bring up something that I did intend to complain about this. Okay. So I'm going to do it now. This is the perfect time to complain about it. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. So I told you guys I'm in California, right? And there's a bunch of things that I just kind of call, that's that California stuff, right? I like peanut butter. No, I don't. That's a lie. I like peanuts. And I like toffee and butter. And I like butter. What I'm going to object to, and I've never been the kind of person that objects to just the mere existence of a thing, of a product. This has nothing to do with home gym stuff at all. It's just something I saw, and I was like, nah, man. I actually meant to throw it in Recliner of Rage as an addendum, but I was like, I'm not really mad about it. I just don't approve of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in here because we got a little bit of time while Mario gets his situation sorted out, right? He says Windows is blocking me. I'm not okay. Use your phone. All right, so Mario, my recommendation is get your phone and get the it'll take you very little time. You can get the StreamYard app on your phone. There you go. Yeah. Get the app on your phone and then just go in your email and get that link out of your email and just open and copy it and then paste it into the app on the phone, and it'll work out a little bit better for you. Anyway, so back to what I was complaining about. So I've never been the dude that says, okay, I don't like a product just because it exists, right? Until today. Because I was at the hospital earlier and I saw this. I was like, man, what is that? So this is the thing. I don't understand this at all. So it's called pea nuddles. Okay. First of all, the name is out of pocket right there. Pause. Okay. I just feel like I need to say no diddy when I say the name. All right. But pea nuddles, no diddy. Butter, toffee, peanuts. I don't feel like that should exist. I don't know who to send an email to. I don't know what the customer service. I certainly ain't gonna buy one. I did think about buying a bag just so I could get the customer service number so I can call them and say stop it. That was gonna be the entire call. Call, wait till they answer. You got to go through the voicemail and all that stuff. Go through all the thing, boom, 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 and then select speak to a representative. And then once I actually got a representative on, I was gonna say stop it, and then I was gonna hang up because I don't feel like butter toffee peanuts are a thing that should exist. I just don't think that butter toffee peanuts should exist. And, if you are a fan of butter toffee peanuts, I'm sorry that I'm raining on your parade and I'm yucking your yum. And I'm saying that somehow your food choices are invalid. But dude, seriously, butter toffee peanuts should not be a thing. I refuse to agree that this is okay. In fact, we can't be friends if you walking around with butter toffee peanuts in your possession. Okay. Just stop it. Just stop it. Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me share. Thank you for letting me share because I needed to get that all out of my system. Okay. All right, Mario, you ready? All right. Let's bring you on here. My man Mario.
Hola.
All right. What's up, man? Do me a favor, turn that phone sideways. That way, if I can put you on. Yeah, there we go. Now we look at that. Now we cooking with grease.
Yeah.
All right, we in there. All right. Fish grease too, not that regular grease. This is good fish grease. All right, like our grandparents used to cook with. that built a country. Fish grease built a country. All right, so man, I appreciate you taking some time to talk to me.
No problem.
A little bit of last minute, and I've reached out to people. I reached out to you, and then Rory. I was like, yeah, I need people who I know are gonna be like down for whatever. They're ready at a moment's notice. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, Mario's prepared.
Yeah,
So let's go ahead and just dive right into what we want to talk about. So welcome back, first of all.
Thank you.
You have released a ton of stuff since the last time you were on here. I saw, in fact, let me see if I can pull it up here, because I know I did. I wasn't hallucinating. And then I went and looked for it. I was like, I know I saw this. So right here, I saw Jonathan from No Fate 24/7, and he was doing a review. It was part of his Black Friday deals that home gym owners are buying. And he says specifically, he was looking at your mag pin, your magnetic hitch pin for squat racks. He was saying that he wanted to grab that for his own home gym. Check him out there in the old festive Christmas spirit right there in the bottom. It's my guy. Hey, Jonathan, never change, okay? Never change, man. Yeah. So we had that, and then you got a shout out from Jake. I'm not sure if Jake is still on here, but you got a shout out from Jake about Jake with Garage Experiment and Garage Radio. He gave you a shout out for your ISO handles.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, that's good because you're getting good pub off of your products,
no.
which is, yeah. And you're like, oh, thank God, people actually not. It's not just a hate parade, right?
Right.
But so let's just talk about that. First of all, how cool is it to finally start getting people not hating you on site? Because for a while it was like it's on site.
Yeah, all in due time. I've been working on this stuff for so long. It just takes a long time to manufacture and release,
Yeah.
So it looked like I had 1 or 2 products, but in all reality, I had 15 in the process of making, and more coming, more being released in January. I think I have 5 more new products being released in January, the late end of January.
Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here because you've got your current. Let's go ahead, go to your website and check out what you got going on right this very moment. As we speak, while everybody else is sleeping, while the rest of the world's sleeping, Mario's got this going on. So you've got. So actually, you got stuff that's like sold out. So first of all, these are the ISO handles right there. All right, and I wanted to bring them up specifically because Jake shouted them out, said he liked the design and the idea behind them, and then I actually was talking to Matthew Porter before our Okay, this is gonna sound crazy if I just use pronouns. So I was talking to Matthew Porter before my last conversation with you, Mario, the other day, right? So I talked to Matthew, then I talked to you. Okay, hope that makes sense to everyone instead of just being in my head. And he said, and I wasn't aware of this, but he's like, hey, look, I want to make this clear. Mario didn't copy me.
Yeah.
All right. He was like, look, it seems that we just had similar ideas for the same problem. And we just came out with products that look similar. But one thing that I thought was important for him, that he said was basically somebody could buy your product and buy his product, right? The same person could buy your product and his product, and they would get different training effects. So there's enough difference. Like to the regular person, they look like the same thing, but to somebody who's using it and who's a designer, there's enough difference between them that you get a different training effect from each one just because of how they're made.
Yeah.
And so talk about your product.
I'm honestly surprised they haven't been designed 100 years ago. I have the ropes and I have the ball and all that, but once you get to a certain weight, you know, and your body's being pushed back, and so you have that force, and then you're trying to push forward on those balls. They're horrible. So honestly, you can't even focus on the exercise because you're too busy squeezing on that rope, trying to make it not let go. This, all the weight's on your palms. I can literally put my thumb around the handle, and instead of gripping it, it just sits there because everything's supported on the base. So I made it wide enough and arced enough so it contours to your palm, so it's really comfortable, and it rotates. It's probably not 100% necessary. It has to rotate, but it's kind of cool just to see.
Okay. All right, so I got you see, I just started the video there, so people could kind of see the video as you're using it, and so some of the ways that you're using it. So for me, like you were talking about the ball, I remember, like how bodybuilders would do the movement with a cable kickback, and they wouldn't put a handle on there. Instead, they would just grab the cable above the little ball.
Yeah,
right. So so is that what gave you the idea, like, for this product?
Honestly, it was the back of my shoulders. I forget the name, but I was grabbing that cable on the ball, and I hated it, you know, because the ball's stuck right here and all that force. So you try not to slip out as the weight gets heavier.
Right.
And I was like, this is stupid. So I started drawing something to fix that problem.
So I actually hadn't planned on asking you this question, but what you just said relates back to the question I asked Rory earlier. Because Rory had a question on Instagram. He said, does it matter to the consumer if the owner of a gym equipment company is a lifter? And I said, to me, it does, because I want them to understand my pain points so that when they're designing something, or let's say their engineering department brings them a thing, they can say, in fact, you know what? I didn't mention this with Rory, but just I want to tell you guys this so you know, one, how much of a nerd I am, and then also you'll see like how this, like, in a real life application, right? So the reason we have sliced bread today, see, nerd. So the reason we have sliced bread today, and I saw this when I was watching The Food That Built America. Excellent program. Man, I love that series. When they're talking about Pepperidge Farm and all, I was like, oh shoot, yeah, man. And the Heinz ketchup thing, I was like,
I mean, if you want to learn about, if you really want to know how hardcore business is, and how, there's it's Harley versus Indian or something, the movie.
Ford versus Ford, and then there's Harley versus Indian. Yeah, you watch those things, dude. So like, I still remember when they're talking about like Heinz ketchup. It was because the food was spoiling and they wanted to hide the taste of the food. Oh God, of the meat. Yeah, that's horrible. But anyway, so the reason why we have sliced bread is because the person in charge of the company was like, of Wonder, was like, there's got to be a way to, like, people need to be able to get uniform slices of bread so they know how thick the slices are every time they get a piece of bread and they want to make sandwiches, right? Well, what if the dude never ate sandwiches?
Yeah.
It would never occur to him that this is something that needed to be addressed. We would still have bread that just came in a uniform loaf. And so, as crazy as that analogy is, that's the advantage of having somebody who's a lifter making, in charge of the company, even if they're not the ones designing the product. So to your point, it's like, you're doing the thing with the ball that bodybuilders have done forever, and everybody else was probably like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to do it like the bodybuilders do it. And you're like, nah, that's stupid. We should design something better. So
I did see that poll they put out the other day, and I think it's a 50-50. So RitFit got interviewed, the marketing exec from RitFit, and they're sending their products to gym influencers to trying to get feedback on that. You know, I don't know if all of them necessarily lift because they're so busy creating content and putting together products. But I have a 4-6 leg press, and I could tell you I could re-engineer that to be 60 times better, like immediately. I could probably have it done in 2 days there's so many flaws built into it because they're so worried about the compactness rather than the function that's supposed to provide while executing the leg press, and it's just stuff like that, because a lot of stuff is repackaged, redone. If you study history of gym equipment, which if you study old gym equipment, I think RitFit came out with that leg raise one with the cable attached to it. Yeah. That's been around for a long, long time. The gym by my house has a machine really similar. It just didn't come to market,
Right.
So I think it helps to lift if you're trying to solve a problem, but for the most part, a lot of the problems have been solved. It's just repackaged, redesigned,
Yeah, it's like you're tweaking it. Because again, I say this all the time. It's like I thought that the interview and if anybody wants to watch that interview, it's here on the channel. When Bahir from RitFit was on, I think we're the only ones that have ever interviewed anybody from RitFit. That's going to change because they're going to be a home gym con. But anyway, the point is that I think what happens is you're designing stuff for a certain general body size, right?
Yeah.
So you say, okay, well, I'm going to design for regular people, whatever that means, right? So then so to me, it's like in their head, they're like, well, I'm not designing for Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, all right, but if it's somebody who's, let's say they're 5'8", 230. Okay, well, they got different dimensions than somebody who's 6'1", 230. Right. So how do you design for all your customers that size? You know what I'm saying? So it's just that's a tough sell.
It is. I think it's possible. I think there's a balance, and those balance becomes normally. So stick with me here.
Yeah.
The customer that's looking for a particular priced product is most likely in a certain shape. They're getting into it. They're not 100% there. And then as you progress, let's just say the middle of the road, that person progressed physically, where they outworked their old products. They found out they weren't good. And then you have your next tier level up, where you have people who just balls to the wall all the time, lifting weights and stuff like that those machines will just get destroyed because of the use and abuse.
Right.
So I think it's funny kind of how it works financially, because someone who's super fit most likely is not looking for the least expensive product to get the job done, because they know they've used all that stuff before and it's not going to perform like they need because they are up a level, So
that makes perfect sense. But see, so what I was saying is like, I say this all the time. It's like, I know bodybuilders back when I worked at a public gym. I knew bodybuilders who had 3 gym memberships. Mm-hmm. Because they liked the machines depending on what body part they were working that day. They might not like the stuff at this gym as much as they like at that gym. And their solution was, well, I'll just get a membership at that one too. Because what's more important to me isn't the money I'm spending on the gym membership. What's important to me is the training effect.
Yes.
And so in a home gym, like I think you did a good job describing the tiers of home gym ownership. It's like you got people. So like Kurt, for example, Kurt's in really good shape. And he's got goals on the platform or on the competition field. Right? He's a strong competitive strongman. All right. So if you design something for Kurt or Rory, it's not going to be the same as if you're designing it for Michael Vaudreuil, right? Because Michael doesn't compete anymore, right? Michael's just basically trying to stay in shape. He's got different desires and goals or whatever, right? Even though they're both experienced home gym owners, the goals are different, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a delicate juggling act, and I respect the companies that try to do it. I also respect companies that just say, okay, look, this is my lane. I stay in this lane, and I'm not concerned. You know, whatever.
And that's all right. There's millions of people in this world that have needs in some sort of way. Yeah. They're not all the same. So
what I don't like is when a company tries to act like they are making something for Kurt or for Rory or even for me. And I'm like, dude, that's not gonna do it, And they're like, oh no, it's perfect. I'm like, and then that's what I don't like. I'm like, be honest about what you're making.
You could smell that bull, you could smell it. I mean, I think the gym space is kind of funny because there's so many different people and broad ranges and aspects, and just looking through Instagram and the ads I'm getting of just gym equipment that's so like you couldn't give that to me. You know, I would put it in the trash immediately. But there's so many people that could use it because that's their style and so forth, so on, or their level isn't as high or whatever. So I think it's really funny. There's a market for everybody. You know, look at Jane Fonda. She had that butterfly thing.
Oh God, yeah. The
I
Thigh
forget what it's
Master
called.
was it
Yeah,
that?
the Thigh
Was that
Master.
No, that was Suzanne Summers. The Thigh Master.
what did
I know you're
you
talking about.
say?
No. Jane Fonda had something too, though. I know she's talking about. I just don't remember the name of it.
But like, you know how much she sold of that thing? Unbelievable! It was a staple
Oh
in
yeah,
her house. Like it was under everybody's bed.
yeah. You're like, yeah, we're looking like it's worthless, and she's there like building an empire off of it. It's like, oh yeah. So let's see here. So Jonathan, we just talked about you actually, and we even showed a clip from your, not a clip, but a screenshot from your channel. So, you know, welcome here, and everybody listen to him. He says, hit that like button. Kurt is a fan of the ISO handle. And let's see here. And Joyce, whose husband is an inventor, she said, this is stupid is the beginning of new inventions everywhere. Because to be honest with you, to her point, if somebody didn't say, look at something and say, you know, we can do this better, we would still be lifting with barbells the way that Alan Calvert designed them.
Yeah.
Or even worse, the fixed barbells from before he decided, hey, we need a loadable dump. Why can't we make a loadable barbell, right? Jared said he is Team Indian Motorcycle. And Matthew said we are all trying to solve the same problems. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just how you get to the solution is different, but that's also affected by your personal experiences.
Yeah.
So like what you think is like, oh yeah, we should do it this way, whereas somebody else might be like, I don't think that's important, because we all come to it with a certain lens.
Yeah.
All right.
And to boot, like everybody has their product. Everybody has their price range. I just want to mention this because everybody's always vocal about pricing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm really into long range shooting. I love it. And if you're into long range shooting and stuff like that, those parts to do that are astronomically expensive.
Yeah.
They're so expensive, but I pay to play on the level when I go to matches and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I see every hobby as that. But when I was younger, obviously I couldn't afford very much and this and that. And I get older, you can afford nicer things, right?
Right.
And I didn't go cut down companies because their product was expensive, because it wasn't in my price range. And there's a lot of that going on, you know? Oh, it's too expensive. I could sell it for $10 and 1,000,000 of them I would, but life doesn't work like that. There's costs involved to make stuff. And then, you know, all the other stuff that comes with business. So
sure.
I don't know if it's just because they want to comment on stuff, and it's just not me. It's across the board on different companies, you know?
Yeah.
And
dude, we had somebody last week on my show last week.
Mm-hmm.
He came on arguing with me about why I was saying that, actually, ironically enough, Matthew's product is like, why was I saying that Matthew's product was superior to the product that he liked? And I'm like, dude, if you already have what you like, then okay, keep it. I'm just saying that if you've got this other thing, there's no need to get rid of it to buy what you like, because you could just buy Matthew's product and keep going with the thing that you already like. But he was like, no, this is stupid. Like, he was getting worked up, and I'm like, I asked my wife, I said, it felt like his cousin worked at the company or something. Like, why are you so defensive? This is not a personal attack against your choice. I'm just saying what I would do. And ultimately, who cares about my opinion? You know, I don't even know you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna come to your house and talk trash about what you put in your gym. That's up to you, man. Let me ask you this. Well, let me say this too. I mentioned this to you before, but I want to say it to other people. So my wife had not tried your flat push down bars, the lat one and the tricep one. Even though they've been in the home gym, right? Until she was running the camera while I did our video and cable attachments. So she heard me say, that I liked them and what I used them for. So then she's like, oh, okay. So after we're done shooting, she's like, okay, I'll try them. And she tried them. She's like, oh, I like these. I like how these feel. You know what I mean? As someone who's a creator, I know how I feel when somebody watches a video of mine and they don't just say like, oh, I liked it. Instead, they give me like an in-depth kind of like response. I know how that feels. How does it feel to you though to create something and to hear somebody say, you know what, I can number one see a difference between using this and whatever else was on the market, but then also to say, not only do I notice a difference, I like the difference. How does that feel?
Yeah, I like it. It's like one of my check boxes, right? So I'll design a product. That's the first checkbox. I'll physically make it, bring it to market, and then okay, that's the checkbox. And then if people are buying it, that's the next checkbox I have no control over. And if they like it, I'm happy. If they don't like it, I totally screwed up, or I'm missing the point, or something's off. So I love to hear feedback from that. There's a lot of people like different things, so not everybody's gonna like everything. It's just the nature of the beast. And but if a majority of people like the product and physically use the product, because we have a bunch of accessories on the wall, and a lot of them are collecting dust, and there's always those 3 or 4 pieces that you always run to. So after that, I check all the boxes and I just move on with my life to the next thing and try to check those boxes next,
Right. Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of the stuff that I design is, for one, that I want something cool, and
Oh, yeah.
maybe there's a need for it. Maybe there's not a need for it. I just want to redesign a product that's like the roller J cups, I'll show you real quick.
Okay.
So I'm designing these roller J cups here. And,
It's recessed. Okay, hold on. Hang on a second. Let me hang on. Let me make the screen bigger so everybody can see it.
So
Okay.
these are roller J cups I'm working on. It's 2 inches wide here. There's a sandwich piece here. It doesn't hold the bar like bridge builds. It's just, I wanted to make it contoured here, so
Okay.
it holds the bar, so reference and space when it's in there.
All
And
right.
the roller is going to be a Delrin. I think I'm pronouncing it. It's a hard plastic we used to use in race car bushings.
Okay.
So it's better and stronger than the other 2 plastics used. And there's going to be a brass bushings in here that are oil infused.
Okay.
Keep the rolling resistance down.
All right.
There'll be a pin in the back, and yeah. So I'm excited about these. I have a ways to go to produce these, but these are the.
I like that. I like that. So
Yeah.
you said the first thing I'm saying that jumped out to me is when you said that the roller is going to be made out of a plastic that came from race car bushings,
Yeah.
right?
And
And so you're leveraging your experience in the car
Yeah.
industry to this. Do you think that that's where your company provides the biggest value, because you're able to bring stuff from another industry where you're like, okay, I watch stuff. I know what stuff lasts long under tension, heat, and adverse conditions. Let's bring that over here. Let's call it your competitive advantage?
it could be if it rolls out. Now the catch-22 is a race car is not an inexpensive
Right.
item, so there's a price to pay with that. But I personally purchase things like long range shooting parts at the highest tier level I can. The scope is $3,000 alone,
Right.
and that's almost the price of the gun, if not half of it. And anyway, so I design at that tier level because
Okay.
it's just how I am.
Right. I got you.
Make it the best of the best. They have bearings. That shoulder device that I came out with, which I don't have a name for, the pivot for what the cable goes onto is needle bearings, and it's on a billet aluminum shaft, anodized silver, and that's going to get released sometime soon. It's in production.
Okay.
But a lot of this stuff isn't bearing driven. It's easier to put a carabiner on a hole on a piece of metal and just let it ride. But shoulders are hard enough to train, let alone you could feel the drag and the force if the metal's dragging on like the carabiner. To eliminate that and really focus on doing the movement with smoothness and ease is important to me, because the original prototype that I had, it was just metal to metal, aluminum on stainless, and it just, you could feel it dragging as it's going up the motion. It was wretched. So
all right, so we got some, and this is the kind of stuff that I like too. Like when I literally love this about this show. You're gonna get instant feedback instead of having to wait. No, I'm saying this like I literally love it. It's like instead of having to like, I get frustrated when I watch something and I have a question and I post a comment, and then I gotta wait and then keep checking back to see if they answered me. I can't stand that. So, so here's the first one, right? So Jared said this is a thought. He said throw a little protection to the bottom of the J cup so barbells don't tap and scratch that area. And he said, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
I have it here. It's I don't know if you could see it. It's this piece here. Oh.
Okay. So you say you already have what you call it on the bottom of it?
The bottom here?
I think that's what he's talking about. It's like to the bottom of the J cup, because if somebody's lifting and like a barbell could hit it. So let's say somebody's coming up out of a squat and where they stand, you know how like you're squatting and then maybe you bend over too much. Yeah, it's like maybe you squatting and you're bending. Hang on, so you can actually see what I'm doing. So let's say everything starts out great on the descent, but on the way up it becomes a squat morning, right?
Oh, right.
And now the bar's under the J cup, and it could scratch the bottom. I think what he's saying is,
I don't know if you probably have bigger things to worry about than scratching that bar if you're at the point of you being screwed like that.
Hey, the squat morning is a real thing, boss. You know. So that was his comment, and then Rory has another comment. So you might as well keep it handy, because he said his first thought is those J cups look sick. Second though is the bar lip looked a little deep. He said it just looks like a long way to press to unrack the bar. So terms of...
It's the same height, like collectively from bottom to top, as the diameter of the bar. So if it's let's just say it's 28 diameters from the bottom to the top, that's the same distance from there.
So is the lip about halfway in the middle of the bar?
From here to here, we'll say it's 28 millimeters from here to here. So the bar itself is flush.
The top of the bar.
Of the bar, yes.
The top of the bar, okay.
It's not. I did that for safety reasons, because any lower, and you know when you think you're in there and you're not in there, or something happens, I didn't want the chance of it to possibly roll out. I actually did that the other day. I thought I racked it, I didn't, and half the bar was off the thing. So
right. Okay. So here. Now this is not a comment related to the roller J cups. All right. This is related to the ISO handle, and it's from Matthew. Matthew said the thing about the swivel. He said that's why he partnered for his design with egg weights, because the swivel is important. So he agrees with you that the swivel is a good idea. And I kind of see it too. It's like, if you're gonna make it, why not make it the best functionality? Yeah. So 100%. My thought with the roller J cup, going back to that, is, and I'm trying to remember. So competition roller J cups are very, very shallow, because they want to make the unrack. Basically, they want to make it so when you stand up, you just back up and it doesn't catch the bottom. So I think that's what he's looking at. It's like, I want to be able to, as soon as I have it, I can just take a step back and it's not in there anymore.
My concern is safety, because everybody's not at that level of, knowledge of collectiveness of what you're doing, So
well, yeah, but what I'm talking about is, it goes back to your point, like everything is not for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you're not making this so Rory's he's got a powerlifting and strongman background. So if you're not making, if it's designed for somebody more of a bodybuilding style, then number one, you got bodybuilders tend to squat with the bar a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Just okay, because if like I would use this, Jacob, for squats because it's a pain. You get the bar on there and you got to like move around because it's not centered on your
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Just drives you nuts, right? So I would use it for squats. Well, my squat, I squat low bar. Bodybuilders tend to squat with the bar higher up on
Yeah.
your traps, so that's not an issue because you stand up and the
Yeah.
bar's it's like hovering up here somewhere, right? And for powerlifters, when you squat, when you stand up, the bar is going to be very, very low. And so that's when so now what ends up happening there because of safety, think about this, what ends up
can't
happening?
re-rack it.
Yeah, so you end up having to do a calf raise
I can see
either
that.
to unrack or you come up to the top and you're tired.
Yeah.
And now you have to do a calf raise to get it into the thing, and that's where it's where it can be an issue. But it's again, it's all goes back to and that's where it all goes back to who is this designed for? You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. So hold on. So let's go back to Rory. He said, "Yeah, I personally think that's too deep, but I totally see the reason. It is definitely a safer design." He said, going back to what you talked about earlier, I like a see. So I haven't even read that comment when I said what I said just now. He said, "I like a shallow cut, but not all people need that." It goes back to like, well, what are you training for? What is your primary training style?
Yeah.
Even how do you normally set up for squats? That's a
Yeah,
big deal.
I'm gonna do a small batch run of those, and we'll see the feedback that we get from it.
Yeah.
And I understand both points of view, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's a different world. They're like two different worlds, you know.
Yeah, it's 100%. And then too, so like for me, let's go back. Now this kind of goes to Home Gym Physique's point where he said like, do you need to go scientific on Jacob design? I'm gonna say something my pastor says. If a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing to your utmost. Like if you're gonna do it anyway, why not do it? You know, he always says like, if you're gonna do it, go ahead and overdo it.
Yeah.
You know, why give half your effort? But at the same time, I'll say that the thing with the squat setup is also affected by whether you have a rack that's 1 inch hole spacing, or if it's got 5/8 hole spacing, because the holes are going to be closer together.
Yes.
So again, now you got the dip that you can kind of account for the depth of the lip of the Jacob by moving the whole Jacob itself up or down. So there's that as well. And then he's saying, why are lifters so concerned about scratching their barbells? No disrespect intended, but gym equipment gets scratched. I mean, look, that's not a question I can answer because I don't care about my bar getting scratched. But I know that there are people who look at it and say, look, I just spent $600 on this or $1,000 on this. Can you name something else that you spend $1,000 on that you are get excited about if it gets scratched? You're like, oh yeah, let's scratch it right away. So let's go here. Rory said, I'll also add that I think anyone that wants a roller Jacob is probably a more advanced lifter. So I think most people looking for a roller Jacob will want a shallower lip. But again, Rory, it goes back to, I think somebody who squats high bar wouldn't have as many issues as someone who squats low bar. And then
these parts are being the prototypes are being machined, the prototype parts with the Delrin and all that stuff. So once I assemble it and I actually physically use it, I'll have better feedback in the real world.
Oh, I got you.
These are just tack welded right now, so I don't want to put load on there or they'll fall apart.
Yeah. I got you.
I'm just waiting for the real plastic bushings to come in, the plastic to come in and all that stuff. But
then you do some testing.
I might have to lower it. You know, he might be 100% right, or
gotcha.
Maybe it goes down to 1/4 of an inch or something like that to find that medium ground.
So is this the first place that somebody has seen that roller Jacob?
Yes.
Oh,
but
so we just
anybody other than like a no fade, I send them pictures or like you and stuff like that, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So basically, what you guys are seeing is part of his process, you know, in real time. So I like that. So we're gonna be getting updates as you actually tested it. So this is pre-testing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about another one of your products that is available, and that is your gym handle, the D handle pair. And I told you I really like that. I don't know why I still have this tab up. Mark Ripito talking about C channels. We can get rid of that. I'm not as. It was an interesting discussion, but I'm done with it. All right. So ISO handle. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up on screen here, and because I got a couple questions about it. All right. There. That's not it. No. Shop cable attachments.
It should be under new products.
Okay. New products. It's the curved handle. There it is. Okay. All right. I thought I had bookmarked that tab. I didn't. Anyway, this is it. So the first thing that I liked about it, and we'll only see it if I do show the video, right? And this is you using it right there. All right. So you can see, everybody who's watching this can see the curve of the handle. What?
It'll be that.
What was it that made you say, hey, this thing, you see a normal D handle. You're like, you know what? This thing should be curved. Talk about like your thought process as you were looking at it. You're like, you know what?
So,
this needs to be curved.
Obviously, I bodybuild. I do a lot of flies. I have the Rep Aries or whatever they call it, the functional trainer.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of cable flies. And as you're going through them, I have the cloth ones, and they're always dragging. So your arm is literally like a pivot for the cable as you come together. And it was kind of distracting me as I was working out, and because I want to focus on the muscle, and my mind always went to it hitting my arm. So I didn't know if it was going to work, to tell you the truth. I just did it. I machined a prototype aluminum knurling handle, and then got that laser cut and bent and tried it out, and it kind of worked out. And the thing I didn't know that was going to happen is these things are so solid. There's no deflection. There's no movement, that when you're using them, you can really feel what you're doing all the way down to your hands to the handle as you're doing it. The other plastic handled ones with the rope, there's a lot of deflection in there, and you don't really notice until you use these, and you're like, holy crap, these are such a positive feeling when you're going through the motions, because it's just there's no buffer of spring involved in any of it. It's just straight up you feel the weight. And I really like that, because you can concentrate on doing the exercise and not worry about the little nuances that people don't really truly pay attention to, but they're there.
Yeah.
And so
this is one of those things that now you got me thinking, right? Because okay, again, you come from a bodybuilding background, and look, shout out to you, by the way. Most people don't really know this, but Mario has a very inspiring story, because you were actually paralyzed for a while, because you got hurt, right? Yeah. Because was it because of your service in the Navy?
It progressively, it started there and progressively got worse, and never got treated. So the downhill slope was there.
I got you.
When I was in the Navy, it was just doing this, and I wasn't getting any help, even though my screaming was loud.
Yeah, you're like, he's a hard charger. He's fine. Okay, I got you. So, but you come from a bodybuilding background.
Yeah.
So as I'm watching you do this and listen to you talk, I'm picturing Charles Glass. And how he's always like, that makes sense. And so for those who don't know, Charles Glass is in the bodybuilding world, very famous trainer of bodybuilding champions. He was a former bodybuilder himself, and he's big on hand positioning, changing hand position to get a different training effect. So he's like, if I just do a slight tweak with my hands or my elbow or whatever, I'm going to get a radically different effect in my muscles and where I feel exercise. So when you mentioned, hey, just by changing this and curving the handle, all of a sudden I get a tremendously different effect. It clicked for me. It made sense, because that's also what the deal is with your flat tricep press down bar and the flat lat press down. I'm like, oh, that gives me another clue into how and why you design things. You're tweaking, like, oh, well, let's change the training effects by just doing this or just doing that. Let me see. Why is this dude? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, and anyway, I got your message, Carlos. So, now let me go into chat. Let me go ahead and I'll stop sharing this because I wanted the people to see that, because I was
Right.
like, as soon as they see this, they're gonna be like, oh, especially anybody who's into doing those kind of movements. So now, mission accomplished. Here are some comments. So, so Rory said, those are cool. As an avid lover of flies, I can see how these are much more comfortable than standard handles. It's perfect example of improving a product that's been around forever. And I was like, because that's what I thought when I was, you notice that when we were talking, I said, hey man, that's the one that got my attention really. That, you know, when I used your flat tricep press down handle, I was like, okay, yeah, oh, I can see it. But I didn't like see it on the website and say, oh, I got to have those.
Yeah.
Right. I saw these. I was like, oh, is that a pair? Is that 119 for the pair? How much, you know, like I started shopping in my head, right? Because I saw it. I could see it, and I was like, "Oh!" And then when you're like, "Well, you can also use it for rows. You can use it for," I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I see it. So Rory says also other handles will hit the back of your hand or your forearms. Though these look like they solve that problem, which is what it's all about: solving problems. So you told me why you designed them with a curve. Tell me now, what are some of the exercises? You know, obviously we just saw you do flies, and I
Yeah.
mentioned that you could do rear delt flies as well with it, and I can also see carries. I can see some sort of carries like with a loading pin as possibilities. But what would you say would be the exercises that would get the most bang for your buck from using those? Because I'm thinking seal rows, all kinds of things. What do you think?
You could do a lot of things. They're essentially a handle after the fact that they're curved. They will give you 100% more positive feedback than pretty much a lot of other handles. I haven't used all of them in the world, but when you're doing triceps and you're pushing down, there's a lot of room up top. And curls, there's a lot of room. They're a little bit longer than normal handles, and the benefit of that is with the curve allows a greater range of motion without hitting. If I tried to use them for trap exercises, but I'm short and I'd have to stand on a box, so I don't use it for that just because they're a little bit longer. I'm not that tall, so you'll find ways to use them once you have them. I mean, the handle's a handle. You know, these are just more stout and better and allow you to focus more on your training rather than anything else.
So we have a question from Jared about it. He said, for your handles, are they bushing bearings?
No, they're fixed handles. I didn't make them rotate because they were already expensive to produce, and if I made them rotate, the price would go up. In doing that, I might make a rotating one down the line, but like I said, I'm pretty anal, so they have to be bearing driven. I don't want to stick a rod in between two hard surfaces just to make it say it rotates, because you see those crappy handles where it's a hollow tube with a solid shaft and they rattle. I rather use the plastic ones than have it crap, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
But to boot, like, this is not an argument or anything like that. It's just how I train. And so when I train, I noticed when people train, they want to squeeze the handle as if their life depended on it and push through the motion rather than relaxing their hands and allowing the handle to just sit in the pocket while you're pushing. And I do that with curls. I do that with tricep presses. I personally don't squeeze the handle. I just cup it. So it allows the handle to rotate. And I know a lot of people, they want to fight and push the handle down. And that's a lot of contracting on your forearms and not really working on the rest of your muscle group, you know, giving 100% attention to it, the parts you're supposed to be working on. So I've never needed a rotating handle. My other ones, the plastic ones, rotate, but they don't rotate when I work out because of how I hold the handle itself.
So when you said that, man, like it's so I have a very eclectic let's get rid of that. So I have a very eclectic in terms of, like, I'm interested in a lot of different things, right?
Uh-huh.
And so when you were talking about, it's crazy how, like, then something will remind me of it, and you're like, yeah, I never close my hand all the way, right? So that brought me back to an old podcast episode I watched with Vince Taylor, or I listened to with Vince Taylor. And he said, yeah, that's how he started having injuries, and he realized that he needed to be able to train. He's like, I'm going to have to use mostly cables, because he had small joints, which is why he was such a great bodybuilder. But he's like, that made me injury prone. So he's like, I got to use cables. He said, so if I wanted to change things up, he said, the average person can say, well, I'll use a barbell, then I use a cable, then I use a dumbbell. He said, I can't do that. I have to use all cables. So to get a change, he said, I cup my hand in different ways around the handle of the thing, right? And so I know you know who Vince Taylor is, but for the sake of other people who don't know who that is, this is Vince Taylor, and he trained in a similar style to what Mario was just saying. So this is him right there. Yeah, I got a picture of it. Boom. That's him right there. Okay. He's got a little bit of street cred. And this is him at 60. All right.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So anyway, yeah. But so he never won like Mr. Olympia, but he was like, really successful bodybuilder. So Carlos said, shout out to the shorties. We lift too.
Right.
There you go. So tell me, man, as we get ready to wrap this up, what do you have coming out next year that you can tease for us?
So
you already mentioned a couple of things, but you know.
So first, before we forget, there's a promo code for everybody on the channel.
Yeah.
It's GiftMiss 15 for 15% off anything on the website. GiftMiss.
All right, so let me go ahead and I'm gonna post. So what I'll do is I'll put this as a banner, since it's not a link that they need to click. Instead, what I'll say is everybody go to your website, and then when you're there, you're gonna use GiftMiss.
GiftMiss 15.
GiftMiss 15. All right, cool. So I'll put that in there. I'll put that in the video description so people will be able to see it. So if you're watching on replay, that the link to Mario's website, as well as the promo code that you need to use, is in the video description. I'm adding that now while we're talking. Okay.
So it'll be good for January 5th or whatever.
So it's good.
Yeah.
So it's good till January. It's good till January 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Thank you. That actually relates to something I'm gonna say. Like, it's like I think there's like it's not really a dead space, but mid-January is like when companies start like having closeouts and whatever, because they're trying to get rid of their overstock so they can make room for the spring and summer stuff. How tough is that for you as somebody who creates product? Even back when you were doing stuff like with in the car industry and the auto industry, knowing that some people are just gonna wait you out. They're like, okay, I'll just wait till January and see if it's on clearance or whatever.
Well, normally in the car industry, Black Friday, Cyber Monday were the peak time throughout the year. And then after that, we didn't do clearance because everything we had was already popular and sold, and life was over. Tax season comes next. So then the buying frenzy starts again. So they're really similar cycles. In fitness, January is like, I presume, like the Black Friday of fitness, because everybody's trying to get back into the gym and in shape, and the New Year's resolution that they make come to fruition. So as far as unfortunately, I didn't get the new products ahead of Black Friday in December, which I was hoping, but they will. My new products are going to get released at the end of November. So I have a 20-degree wedge with the platform in the back is designed to do calf raises effectively and correctly. So that's coming out. The flex arm, which I've been showing on videos a lot, is actually going to arrive. Finally, it's been over a year since I designed that. I have another one called the Viper Lat, and the Viper Lat, man, that thing's badass. It's
Viper Lat.
I call it the Viper Lat because when you build your lats, it looks like a Viper thing. Yeah. So it slides over the barbell, and a picture of T-bar row. So it slides over the barbell. Well, the handles are adjustable from left to right, and they rotate on a uniball. I mean a Heim joint. just
Okay.
like the normal gym. So you can rotate it and go through the motion if
Okay.
you want. Guys, that thing's so badass. So that's
Okay.
getting released. I have
So
a
so when are you looking at those are going to be releasing? Are you saying like in January, or is it more like, okay, you're gonna get them by spring?
no. They're coming at the end of January. Should have them.
Oh,
So
sweet. So you'll be getting new product when everybody else is like on closeouts and things like
yeah.
that.
So I have which might be controversial once again. I designed a cup holder that holds a cell phone that goes on a power rack, and there's magnets to keep it from swiveling. The cell phone function is really cool because you have a place to put your device, and it just
Yeah, yeah.
plops in. So
Gotcha.
that would be cool.
Hold on. So now I got a question. So, okay. Full disclosure, if anybody knows, all right, I have a cup holder design and I was gonna sell it, but then Massonomics came out with theirs like before I could find somebody to make mine. Okay, and that doesn't mean I don't think they stole my idea. I certainly didn't steal their idea. My design looks 100% different than theirs. We were just both apparently trying to make cup holders, but we end up naming ours the same thing, right? So I don't have a new name yet. So I was like, I just haven't done anything with it. Okay, so full disclosure, I just wanted to bring that out there. Anytime the cup holders comes up, I gotta say that because I don't want people to be like, you're just saying that because of whatever. Okay, so there you go. Disclaimer is done. Now, my thing with the cell phone holder on a rack, you mount it on a power rack, right? A cell phone's reasonably delicate,
Yeah.
so I assume people gonna have a phone like my phone has a holder, a protective case, right?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it like, well, what about the vibration of the constant racking of the bar and all that? How does that? Has it been okay?
The cell phone holders is pitched back.
Oh.
I don't know the degree. It's tabbed on the sides and it's tabbed in each corners as a U, so it locks it in place. If you hit the top, because of the pitch, it doesn't want to pull forward, so you can bang on the rack and it could shift side to sides, but there's holders on there to keep it from moving, and there shouldn't be any problems at all.
Is there like shock absorption material in the actual holder itself?
I was contemplating it, but because of the difficulty level of assembly and all this stuff, I decided not to put that in there. But it's powder coated, and I have a case too on my iPhone, and I haven't had any problems falling out or anything. I put the magnets on there because the original one didn't have magnets, and I put the big cup, the igloo or whatever the hell it is. And if you push on the top, it just rolled right over. I was like, oh,
nice.
Crap.
That's exciting. You're like, okay, that's not safe. All right, cool. All right, man, I just wanted to throw that out because it's like that's what I think of every time I've seen like some of these cup holder not cup holder, phone holders on Etsy, and I'm like, because I go on Etsy. I think that's a great place, by the way. Everybody's watching. If you want to just go like find like kind of quirky, cool stuff for your home gym, go on Etsy and just type in home gym, and you'll see all kinds of stuff pop up. So I'm on there, fairly at least once a week. But my thing about the phone thing was always like, well, are you not damaging your the working of your phone? So I'm not necessarily talking about cracking your case or anything like that. I'm saying like next thing you know, you're like, dang, I gotta factory reset my phone all the time because it's just, and I don't know why. I'm like, well, I got an idea. All right, okay. So you got that stuff coming out in by the end of January, so that's something to look forward to. So let's go ahead and you post something that people don't realize, and you said you brought it up to me. And I want to close with this because you were really frustrated. You're like, look, people say I'm stealing stuff from people, but they don't realize that I post the videos and pictures of me with my prototype ideas a long time before they ever come out. Yeah. So that people can see your Instagram posts, your social media posts, tell them how to find your website. I've got that going across the bottom. So the website, and then also let them know where they can follow you on social media so they can see what you're coming up with and the ideas that you're kind of throwing out there.
Yeah. So Force, FORCE 6 Fitness is the website. It's Instagram's Force 6 Fitness, and I'm on YouTube and Instagram. I post everything on Instagram, whether it's in the background or a preview. I also post videos of me using the products, and most of the time I'm using all the products just to test them. I'll take them to the gym to test them, and then I'll test them some more, to make tweaks if I need to and stuff like that. But I'm constantly using everything I have, and they're designed off of me wanting something to do something. And I just don't make up things just to sell a product. They're designed off of necessity, in my opinion, what's missing, or maybe I see something on the market that does exist, but not to the point where it needs to be. It needs to be elevated. So the Flex Arm is an amazing adjustable thing. It's kind of the closest thing to it probably would be Exponent Edge. Unfortunately, everything takes so long to get made. I designed a Flex Arm almost when I got started. It was literally my second product I've designed, and look at me now, a year later, and it's coming out at the end of January. And Exponent Edge has his, and his serves a function. Mine's going to serve a function, and you just determine what's best suits you and your needs and training needs and stuff like that,
Awesome.
So yeah, Instagram, I post videos all the time, and I post reels. I post things how I use the ISO handle on back of the shoulders, and if you follow me on there, you probably see all this stuff being used, and see what's happening. So I'll give you an example. One of my videos, I have my I don't know what they call it, the platform you sit on to do back exercises or something like that. It's a prototype. It's adjustable from 0 to 20 degrees each leg, so you can lean it back if you want. And I think that 20-degree decline is important because the way the landmine's set up and that barbell goes through is pretty much at that angle there. So now when you're pulling it, it puts you at the same parallel flat as you're pulling. If you're sitting flush there, the arc isn't the same. So, you can see how if you're standing flat on a platform, you have to really load that back to support that dead weight while still leaning back and try to get it. But if you're leaned back, now gravity's helping you keep that position and straight. So you're focusing on the exercise, not on the core strength, just to hold that dead weight that's beneath you.
Gotcha.
I have kettlebell holders that attach to power racks that are on their way, as well as a little basket I designed. It's part of a bigger modular system I designed to hold barbells and kettlebells and plates on a stand, but it also applies to a power rack. So you can, but it's going to be sold as needed. So if you want one kettlebell holder, it would be sold one. Everybody's kettlebells are on the floor, and they look pretty sick, lined up there in the back of the thing, all nice and neat, So
nice. Okay. Well, man, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, thank you for bailing me out last minute. I didn't give you a ton of time, but I said, hey, I wanted to catch up with you anyway because you've been putting out so much stuff, and I wanted to talk about those curved handles too. I was like, hey, the things I'll go through just to talk about a curved handle with somebody. Anyway, so I appreciate you being here, man, and I really do. I wish you the best with your brand, and thanks for coming on, man.
Cool.
Anytime you want to come back, man, you're always welcome. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks, Mario.
Bye.
All right, later. All right, so that was my guy Mario Rago. Mario is, as you guys, he's given us a promo code. He designed it just for the show. So anybody who's watching this, whether you're watching live or on replay, go ahead and use promo code GIFTMAS15 when you go to 46fitness.com, and you can save at checkout. All right, so let me go ahead and let's take that down from here. Make sure you take advantage of that. And now let's talk about what's coming up next week. So let's go ahead and boom this right here. And all right, so next week we have I'm gonna have 2 USPC I don't want to say personnel, important people from the USPC. So the USPC is the United States Powerlifting Coalition, and they are it's going to be Jetta Lewis, who is a powerlifter in the USPC, and then we have got Christopher Wichtel, okay, and he is a judge in the USPC. So I think Jetter is an interesting interview because for one thing, Jetter has a 1769 total, so 1,769 pounds is what he's totaled on the platform. But more than that, I was live streaming the USPC Shack Showdown, and I watched Jetter tear his pec. Jetter's in this for the long haul. He's trained by Clint Darden, who is one of the elite FTS coaches. Clint Darden lives on the island of Cyprus. He has a home gym, but he also trains people online, and so his lifters tend to do very well in competition. And because Jetter tore his pec, I'm interested to see how he and Clint are programming to get him back to, get him back onto the platform. Also want to hear about how he's rehabbing. And then Christopher Wichtel is a judge in the USPC. He actually competed at the Shack Showdown as well, but I want to hear from him about, his training leading up to the Shack Showdown, training by himself in his gym, in his home gym. Chris is one of those guys who's like old school. He doesn't really do a lot on social media, so I think it'll be interesting to hear about his training as well. Plus, we have more cool stuff. So you guys make sure that you're following Garage Gym Life on Threads, because that's where you'll be getting updates to let you guys know what's coming up on the show. And as always, we could not do this thing without you guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. You see that as of right now, there's like 948 people watching right now. And when I came with the idea for a live show back in February of last year, actually end of January is when I started thinking about it. The idea of having this many people getting up early to watch me talk live with people was just a hope and a prayer. And that is all down to you guys. So I really appreciate you guys. Also, I'm going to give you a teaser for those of you who are still watching. So let's go ahead and play this. You may have seen, this is actually going to be coming up on a YouTube short, but I'll let you guys see it now. Give you a little hint. But this is, to you, this is an empty garage. But this is actually where my son is going to put his first garage gym, and I cannot wait to help him build it. What do you think we should add first? All right, so there you go. So my son's gonna be building his first. He said, Dad, obviously I've had a home gym for over 20 years, so he grew up training with me in the garage, but this is going to be his first garage gym. And so he's like, yeah, I want to start. He asked me to help him with selecting equipment and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be a fun thing, really fun project that we're going to be working on. So you guys stay tuned for that, because we'll be putting updates about that in the here on the channel as well. So anyway, I got to go get some sleep because I have not had any. Okay. I've been going on motivation and determination and inspiration from you guys. So you guys have an excellent week. Thank you so much for being here. And we will see you guys again next week to do it all over again. Peace out.